Hello, I'm Mirella.
Hello, I'm Zoe. Welcome to the Critical Obsession podcast.
Our latest obsession has been a TBL called Dangerous Romance. The episodes are free to watch on YouTube. There will be spoilers, so you should definitely go and watch the series before listening to us fangirl about it.
A little disclaimer, this will contain our personal opinions, random thoughts, and theories. There will be cursing, and also be aware that topics may be adult in nature, and alcohol may be involved.
Our laughter will be painful to listen to, but bear with us. Last time we reacted to the latest episode of Dangerous Romance, but now we want to talk about it some more.
If you're still with us after all of this, join us on our downward spiral into our obsessions. I don't really know where to start. I mean, obviously at the beginning makes the most sense, but yeah.
I have stuff to say about the beginning.
I wonder if I should just mention first that I had a tooth pulled today, so if I make any weird noises or anything, I apologize in advance for that. But yeah, okay, well, if you have something to say, I mean, like, look, so much happened in that very first part. Like, it was like whiplash. It really was. And so much foreshadowing of Kang thinking Salom had left him when he wakes up first. But yeah, anyway, you said you had stuff to say, so I'll let you
Yeah,
rush straight in.
So Kang wakes up alone in the bed, right? And he is kind of anxious not to find Salom there. And then we see Salom coming into the frame, and Salom continues to take care of him and offers himself once again without even being asked. He offers his scent, he offers food. The fact that he appears in the frame wearing Kang's jersey with Kang's name on his back almost like he's declaring that Kang does own him.
Yeah, ownership. Yeah.
That he gifted himself to Kang. He's there to provide for all his needs. He even plays the role of the hotel staff, right? When bringing the food, he declares very clearly.
Serving him.
Exactly. He declares very clearly, I am yours. And it's a role play between them because Kang even asks, why does the hotel staff wear my jersey? He is even marked physically with a hickey.
I know, right?
I mean, it's a continuation of the declaration from the previous episode. I am yours. Take care of me. Take care of your things. I am your thing, basically. I'm here for you.
It's funny that you mentioned. Sorry, it's funny that you mentioned the him walking in that scene with the jersey on, because it reminded me of like in like motorcycle gangs and stuff. Like often, like with girlfriends and that, they'll make them wear like like a special vest or whatever, and it usually has like a property of and like the person's name on it. And it just I don't know why, but when I was watching that scene, it made me think of that. And that's how I also got to the ownership thought as well. But yeah, continue.
No wonder he feels worthless when Kang throws him out later, because he basically transformed himself into a thing now that he owns.
It's interesting too, isn't it? Because like for someone who he is like he rejects Kang's wealth when it's offered to him, yet he is putting himself in alignment with something that he thinks, Kang will find value in, like an object. And yet Salome is the most important thing out of everything that he has. And like honestly, he can never really own him. You know what I mean? Like not really.
Yeah, because you know what I'm thinking? Even though Salome thinks that this is what Kang needs, because that's why he does it, I think what Kang actually wanted was to find him besides himself in the bed when he woke up.
Oh yeah,
That's why he gets anxious. He didn't need all this. He just wanted to for him to be in the bed with him.
He just wants Salome. That's it. There's no he has no specific demands on him or expectations. He just wants him, like essentially. And it's interesting that Salome is doing this, and it's even more so in this. Like it's like he's gone a step further. It's like, is this him trying to hold on? Like, is this his way of trying to hold on? Like, is he more insecure, or since they were together, or like I don't know. It's just it is an interesting
He probably
dynamic.
is, because when he loses Kang, he loses his self of self, because he did not feel this worthless before all this happened. Although there is also this thing of him, when you fall in love and it's your first love, and even if you don't fall in love, when someone throws you away out like this. You don't know who you are anymore. But
Yeah.
added to this, the fact that he made a thing out of himself that can own it. No wonder he feels like that
I
later.
mean, yeah, I mean, he actually literally in the last episode, like in episode 9, he literally, like, not only does he verbally say to Kang, you know,
Yes.
like, I'm yours, he gives himself to him as well. So there's a whole, like, another depth to their, like, this feeling of belonging. And, you know, he has essentially given something to Kang that he can never get back again.
And then you're addicted to my scent, aren't you? And let me taste your blood. That was hilarious. It's
I'm
hilarious.
just
I don't
like,
have much
yeah.
to say about
And I'm like, I feel the need to, I'm gonna mention it here, but I'm not gonna like get into it. I'll wait until we get to that part.
it.
But
Mhm.
the scene where, like, basically Salom is denying that anything untoward happened, and, you know, it's just a mosquito
Mhm.
bite, like, nothing happened, I tended to your wounds, and then we went right to bed. And
Mhm.
then we have the scene of Kang jumping on him here and kissing him on the neck, and it's such a mirror, like a twisted mirror image of the scene that we get later on. But there is one part of the scene that is mirrored perfectly, and I'll mention it later on.
Oh yes. Oh my God. I know where you're going with this. But also, you remember I we talked about how in a lot of dramas, after the sex happens, they go back to being all,
Oh,
you know,
yeah. And in this, they continued to
"Oh,
be
no,
sweet and
don't touch
cute, which
me."
I loved.
Yes,
I
I
did.
love it. There's a
Yeah.
difference. There is a difference.
Yeah, I loved it. And I love, you know, we talked about this in the reaction as well, but like Kang, you know, seeing this part of Kang where he's showing like maturity and like this desire to do the right thing, and, you know, making choices for the right reasons, like doing this for himself, like
Mhm.
not for Salam, not for his father, but because it's something he wants to do, and because it's the right thing. It shows like great maturity and everything, and it's such a juxtaposition to later on when he's basically like reverts back to not being as mature. But then we're not, when we're hurt, like even as adults, like when we're hurt and we're like we feel defenseless or we're scared, we can act like children. Like we do act,
Irrationally.
yeah, because
And we
we
go
lash
back
out
to the
or we,
core of what we are.
yeah, that's right. We just, but I did like that we got that scene. I really thought it was really cute.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had to say, remember we were wondering if Kang's friends know already, and oh, of course they know. I don't think there's really anyone left in that school not knowing that they're together.
Well, but I mean, if you think about like when, was it before Salom like even agreed to date him? Like Ken kept following around blowing kisses and shit. And I mean, I suppose there could have been a faction of people who were like, well, this is a new take on the bullying. But like in general, considering Salom's reaction to the kisses being blown and the, you know, letters being thrown and the fact that they suddenly were start like spending all this time together and that, yeah, I think it's probably pretty like well known that they're a thing. I would be surprised if like Kang has like started a rumor or something about them that you know, like they're together just so that everybody knows that Salom's like
Uh-huh,
hands off.
uh-huh. He is mine.
Yeah, he's like he started it, but like it's like it sounds like it come from a third party.
I have a thing to say about the watch. I think it's interesting that what the thing that Kang's dad gives to Sci-Fi is a watch. Do you know
Hmm.
about the watch superstition as a gift?
No, I can't. I know there's
Yeah.
a bunch of like substitutions for gifts and stuff. Like I know like purses and knives and stuff, but I don't
Mhm.
know about watches.
So around here, like you're not supposed to give people watches as gifts
Hmm.
because it's bad luck and it's also like you're counting down to something that's going to happen. And I looked online, and apparently in Chinese history, the watch is seen as a curse. So because when the two Chinese symbols for watch and gift are put together, they create a word that means funeral. So it's
Okay,
like
that's interesting.
it's like counting down to one's death.
Well, it's interesting too because I remember reading like it was, I don't know if it was like an actual novel or if it was like a fan fiction or like what it was, but I remember reading a story once, and in it there was this whole premise of like this person gave another person a watch, and when they did that, they actually gave the person part of their life.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I read that when the master, do you call it the master, the craftsman that creates the watch? What
Hmm.
do you call it?
Yeah. Yep.
When they create the watch, they put a part of their soul into that watch. I think I read something like this when looking for
Yeah,
information.
it was sort of like that, but like it was
Mm,
like this person was, I think the person who got given a watch was like dying or something. I can't really remember.
mm,
And the person who gave them the watch, when they gave them the watch, like their fate changed. Like it turned from them living until they were like 100 or something to living only until they were like 60. Or there was something
oh,
weird that happened. I really can't remember, but I did think it was when you started talking about the watch thing, I thought, well, that's an interesting thought as well because, the father gave him some of his, you know, time, I
mm,
guess maybe.
mhm.
But yeah.
So the sci-fi name scene.
Oh my god. Before we do that, can we just go back for a second to the guy Nava teasing them at the game? Because I'm like, I'm like, what are we now? How many days are we like gone past? And I'm still maintaining that, um
Three.
except for when they got to the bit where they like broke up or whatever, but like from then until when they broke up, like King was like planning their entire future from the honeymoon comment. But yeah, to go.
Considering how he reacted to the word
Yeah,
honeymoon, no
like
wonder.
he couldn't even like get it out. His voice like broke. I just loved it. It was the best. Like it was so good. On point there. But yeah, the name and Sapphire. Like I literally am so confused. I have no ideas really, and by that I mean I'm totally lying. Of course I do, but I'm just like I don't know what are we meant to think. Like I watched the episode with again with my mom, and she's like, "Oh, so like did he do it?" I'm like, "We have no idea." Like they've done a really good job because like we literally have no idea what happened in that room. I mean, my theories
It's
are.
actually, yeah, I don't know what to say. 'Cause they do these things like, for example, with Pimfa and with Saifa and with the dad, that they kind of make these hints that the story could be a bit different, and you're supposed
Mm,
to wonder, and then it kind of disappears, and you'll find different justifications for the things that just happened. So I'm not sure. I mean, the trailer would make us think that Name is going to try attempt to kill the father, right? But
yeah, I mean,
they
he look it that
usually
they
spoil things like this.
yeah, it looks like how they're leading towards that, but I don't know. I mean, like this is yeah, that's my theory. Name is bad, or Name is good and Sapphire's protecting him, or it has nothing to do with Name at all. And the bad guys have threatened Salom, and so Sapphire's, whatever. But because I'm really lost. Like,
Mm.
I
I
really don't want Name to be bad. Like, I want Sapphire to be happy too.
So Saifa says his dream is to travel around the world. So basically, his dream is freedom. He feels trapped, right? And it's interesting how he actually ends up in the opposite situation in jail. And then he says, "I remember everything about you. I just didn't expect to run into you under those circumstances." So Name also has been a dream for him. He wanted to meet him again. This means
Mm.
he thought of him. And also,
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's like a mirroring of Salom having this like these feelings for Kang for like years. It's like Sapphire did this but with Name.
exactly. And also, I had this thought that someone who's happy with what they're doing wouldn't say something like, "You must be disappointed to see me like this." So, him being manipulative here doesn't feel right. I mean, Name says this.
Mm,
And then Saifa says he sees the world name in him, and that's all that he needs to be happy, which is, yeah, very Salom of him. Very
mm.
Salom, just Salom seeing the good and the old. Kang in the bully,
Mm.
right? So he basically offers his dream of freedom and traveling to the lost name, but they're not free right now, and it's going to get worse. And I think there's something there. I refuse to accept that name is evil.
Yeah, I don't want him
I
to be
don't.
evil because I want Sapphire to be happy. It's interesting. You said a couple of things that just made my brain go ding ding ding. So
Mhm.
you mentioned about how like clearly Sapphire is like his desire is freedom, and I mean it makes sense because he would feel trapped by his circumstance
Mhm.
and like even by his brother to a certain extent because he
Yeah,
had to make decisions and do certain things that maybe he
provide for
wouldn't have
him.
done if he didn't have to stick around for so long.
Yeah.
And also like this idea of now he's like trapped in prison, it's interesting because for some people that is actually a freedom. Like uh, uh there are some people that repeatedly commit crimes because they feel more comfortable inside than they do outside. So it's interesting. I mean, he wouldn't have to worry about money or like lots of things. There would be freedom in a lot of that. But it's just the thing that like I thought was interesting with Name and Sapphire and him being, potentially manipulatively or not, like I just felt like you said, he doesn't in this moment he seems earnest. Like he doesn't seem like he's bad.
Seems vulnerable.
Yeah, he does. He seems vulnerable and he seems like touched is the wrong word, but like pleasantly surprised that Sapphire has thought about him or that he has
Mhm.
positive thoughts about him. Um,
It's like he suddenly believes maybe there is actually a chance for me to turn things around if
yeah.
someone else believes in me.
And I feel like if he was evil, right? Like then they wouldn't have included the scene where he went to talk to his boss because
Yeah.
he in that scene he is once again earnestly like
Mhm.
applying to leave that position. He does not want to do it. Like if it was a scam or if it was whatever, then he would, we wouldn't have got that scene. That being said, it could be a red herring. There is that whole fable about the what is it? It's something. It's the scorpion and something, and they cross the river together. Do you know the story I'm talking about?
Mhm. Yeah.
Is it a? I can't remember what it is. What the animal is that crosses on the scorpion's back. I don't remember. It's the
No, the
scorpion.
scorpion travels on someone else's back, I think.
That's right. That's right. And they get halfway to the middle, and the scorpion stings him, and he says, "Why did you
Yeah.
do that? Now we're both going to die." And he says it's in my nature. And I must admit, while I was watching this scene, I thought about that because he may want to have this like life that
Mhm.
is other than what he has, but he said that thing in the previous episode when he showed up to get Sapphire's help with his bullet wound about how like basically he kind of like grew up in this or something, or like it's really hard to change your station and to change your life from something that's like that dark. Like, I mean, people do it all the time, so you can do it. Like, it is
But
achievable, but it,
at the same time, this is something that's happening to the main characters,
oh,
isn't
yeah,
it?
it
This is
is.
the thing. This is what they all basically have to do. Kang changes so much, and Salom as well, and maybe this is also something that Name Ghost is going through.
I don't necessarily mean though, like I'm not necessarily commenting on him changing. I'm talking about like him actually having the opportunity to be allowed to change because like clearly this
Mhm.
guy does not want to let him go, the one that's the
Yeah,
boss. So like
yeah.
it's all well and good if he wants to change. And all you have to do is look at this scene, like look at Name, the character Name in this scene. Like when Sapphire comes out and he's washing the car. He's doing something that like, is basically it's menial manual labor. Like a lot of people would be like, I'm not doing that job because it's like, you get dirty, you get wet, you're cleaning something amazingly beautiful and expensive for someone else, and
Hmm.
like and all the rest of it. But he looks happy and free and young and just like
Yeah,
it's the
he
best
says
he
it. He says,
yeah
"I don't mind his job."
Yeah, like, he looks the best he's seen, like, in all of the other scenes we've had him in, he's, like, grumpy or he's angry or he looks unhappy or, like, whatever, and so, like, he wants this. I truly do believe that he wants the good thing, and it's interesting as well that he seems to be trying to help Salom, like, help Safai, so is it, like, is he also being threatened? Like, is he trying to help Safai without, like, letting anyone know that that's what he's trying to do? Because he knows they're watching, like, after he went and saw the boss,
Yeah,
and he knew everything, like, he knows they're watching. He knows,
yeah,
like, so he couldn't just go to Salom and, like, give him the watch or, like, give him money
yeah.
or whatever. But, like, by doing what he did, it was like he was trying to get him help, basically. I saw a post on, I think it was on Tumblr, where someone said about how he was trying to help his future brother-in-law get his, like, honey out of prison. And I was just like, I love that. I hope it's true. But yeah,
I had this question, like, whose watch is this?
yeah, well, I mean, I didn't like, even though, like, Salom, like, fondles it a lot, I couldn't really get a good enough look at it to know whether or not is it the watch, like, the father's watch.
Uh-huh. I don't know. It's like, what watch is that?
I just
And
I feel like I really would like Sapphire to be happy as well. So I'm
mhm.
because and I mean, I guess the thing is as well is, as you said, they're all trying to change. They're all trying to grow.
To break free
Sapphire.
from their circumstances, yeah.
That's right.
Not
Sapphire.
be what they're expected to be.
That's right. And I mean, even Kang is the same. Like, he doesn't want to be,
Yeah, of
the
course.
poor little rich kid or whatever. It's like, wouldn't it be a tragedy if everybody else gets their way but Name doesn't? Like, and it's just, but would that really be a tragedy? Because, like, does anyone actually care about him? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I mean, I do now. Like, I was watching that scene and I was like, oh my god, I fucking hate you guys, because, like, now I'm, like, invested and I
Mhm.
really don't want anything bad to happen to them. And I before we had this episode, I was convinced that he was going to get killed, and that it would just happen in the house and that Sapphire would get blamed for it. So
Mm.
when they wheeled out the father, I was, like, a little bit relieved. I felt bad, but I was, like, a little bit relieved. I'm like, if it has to be somebody, as long as it's not grandma and Name, I'm good. But yeah, no, I was just like, but he does seem really suspicious though, in the same vein as that, because, like, the way he's, like, questioning the grandmother about, like, the father
You
and
know, even before that, when Name comes to pick up Kang's father and he says he's changing his plans and he's going to the game,
mm,
Name looks troubled. He looks kind of upset
mm.
because the plans changed. Like, was Kang's father not supposed to be in the house?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I feel like maybe he came back and he wasn't meant to be there and something happened. I
Yeah.
question as well whether or not Sapphire was even there when it happened, because I don't know if this is a conversation you and I had or if I mentioned it in the reaction podcast, but, like, he's meant to be like a caregiver, whatever. He seems to have some sort of
Yeah.
medical background. Like, he would know, like, his first instinct, if he had been there and was innocent, which
Mhm.
I'm like 99% sure that he is, would
Mhm.
be to stop the bleeding. Like, the doctor says, and I swear to God, I'm just like, oh my God, the way the doctors are on
Yeah,
these shows with the, oh my God, he's gonna be fine. Surgery was fantastic, but he may still die. It was supposedly because of a loss of blood, right? So if
but at
he
the
was like,
same time, Zoe, like we as viewers, if we see him drenched in blood, it makes him look guilty, but he came out clean. So it's like for us, he looks clean. He looks innocent. Maybe it's a
well,
visual thing that they try to maintain here.
maybe. I mean, I don't know though. Like, I mean, also depending on where he was standing when he shot the father, he should have blood on him as well. But I mean, maybe I'm looking at it too rationally, too much logic, like too much
Yeah,
realism and
might be.
stuff. But maybe it's because I'm expecting more from the drama, because they've done such a good job in everything else so far. I'm expecting them to be factually accurate. Maybe they're just not going to be. But I
Let's
just
see.
I just feel like if he had been in the room and he was able to. Now, like the word, because I said something to my mom about it, and she said, well, what if he was there but he was restrained in some way? That would also fit, you know, like not being able to stop,
Yeah.
like to help and stop the bleeding sort of thing. So
Yeah.
um in actual fact,
Mm,
it would have actually been better in terms of guilt, and even like possible for, at least from my perspective, for innocence, if he did have blood on his hands, because he could have, like, from the police's perspective, he's got, you know, Kang's father's blood on him, and from my perspective as someone who like feels like he would have tried to stop and help, then he should have blood on his hands. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know what you mean, but at the same time, I'm wondering if they did this on purpose just to make him look clean.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so and also it's funny how they introduced the like father like son thing here. It's like a hint for what's going to happen. It's like an explanation of Kang's reaction, of his dad's reaction, that they're not good in a stressful situation. They're going to freak out and do some stupid shit.
And not only that, the other parallel between them is not only are they not good, they get, and this is why they can't have a conversation together, the two of them, because
Hmm.
they get irrational, they get angry, and then they lash out, right? And the other thing that they have in common is that they don't function without the person that they love. So without the person they love, they like are just
Yes,
stupid. They do stupid
yes,
shit.
and they're quick to judge sometimes. Like Kang's dad with Saifa, and now Kang with both situation. So then we have the "Don't tell me your boss asked you to kill someone," Saifa asking Name, and Name says, "No, I need your help with quite a few things."
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Then we get the scene on the bike. I know you want to say something about the windmills here, probably, with Kang and Salom and the windmills in the background. They're on the bike. I just want to say that, you know what it reminds me of?
Well.
Freedom is the oxygen of the soul.
What, them on the bike together? It's so funny.
Yes, and also Salom spreads his hands at some point, and like,
It's so funny that you said that though, because isn't that scene like actually White and oh my god, I can't remember what Mon's character's name is. Isn't he on the
uh,
back of Mon's bike? But I understand the connection. Yeah. But yeah,
okay,
I
so
did want to mention the windmill imagery in
yeah,
this episode, and not just even this episode, in like pretty much multiple episodes at this point.
hmm,
I really, if we do a full rewatch at some point, I'm really curious. There's so many things I want to like go and pay attention to, like the doors, the
hmm,
bathrooms, the, you know, like all of this stuff that we've got, and I'm gonna add the windmills to it as well, because like in pretty much all of the scenes that I've actually noticed and paid attention to, all the windmills are moving, right? Which
yeah,
is great, because if we ever get a scene where the windmills are fixed with no movement, I'll die, because it means it's all over for them.
yeah.
As long as
You
the
like,
windmill,
like the windmill stopping moving at the titles, and like
yeah,
me freaking out every time. Hmm, hmm,
that's
yeah.
right. As long as the windmills keep turning, then they've got a future together. That's the imagery that
Hmm.
I'm seeing, and I feel like it's important to notice, because I know there were people online talking about different like things, and you know the windmills represent Kang and all that sort of stuff, but like I feel like it's
And
important to know that
Cylon,
when,
of
sorry.
course. Kang and Cylon because they're moving.
Exactly, yeah. It's important to note that like the windmills need the wind to turn. Like they serve no
How can
purpose.
someone forget that wind is also involved in this equation?
I know, right? So it's like they literally serve no purpose if there's no wind. Like they cease to function, which is interesting. It's an interesting metaphor if we think about like what happens later in the episode. That the windmill ceases to function when the wind's not around.
Yeah,
Um,
it's even like he basically disappears. Like there's no scene with him. He's not there. Like when Salom leaves, like he doesn't exist anymore. We're focused on Salom. It's like,
Yeah. And
so
it's interesting too, because like I'm jumping ahead, but it's interesting to me because when we get the scene coming up where, Kang's in his room crying and Solom's packing
Yeah.
his bags and everything, um, like I had this question in my mind, like when he goes to the door and is going to knock, like what is he going to do there? Because he has the flashback memory of Kang asking him to open the door and let him into his heart, sort of thing. And so initially I was like, is he trying to do something similar, or was he just gonna say goodbye?
I think I have some notes about it, but I don't know how
Yeah.
to.
Well,
But maybe it's
we'll bring it up again later. But I was just like,
yeah.
I'm wondering if it was like he was, because you're right. He like disappears from King, and then and so on and so forth. And so it's, yeah,
No, I
the
mean
turning.
Kang disappears. It's like Kang doesn't exist anymore.
Well, it is, but it's also, that's why I think Kang freaks out too, because like Saloma's just gone. Like he doesn't even say goodbye.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And so
So
yeah, so the turning windmills definitely represent both of them. And I feel like when Kang starts spiraling, it's because he can't function without his wind. Like I'm being a bit,
well, yeah,
and
of course,
yeah,
go
and
back.
like I feel like I'm gonna use some words here, and I'm like the like if you read into what I'm saying, it kind of sounds dirty, but like I'm trying to be clever with my metaphors. But like Salom won't blow in that direction. Like he just has stopped. That's like he's not gonna make a move towards Kang without purpose.
That
Um,
is true.
so Kang's wind has come to nothing, right?
Yes.
Salom is alone and like with nothing. He can't blow for Kang because he's lost too. Like so, they're both lost in this moment. Like when Sapphire confesses, or when they find out he's confessed, like
Mhm.
they both just cease to function.
Yeah,
The wind stops blowing and the windmill stops moving.
that is true. That's why that's one I think that's why we get this scene, and it's like freedom. It's like them at their highest. The wind is
Oh,
blowing,
they're so
the
domestic. It's so
windmill
cute, and the
the
wrapping
windmills is
around the
move,
arms and
windmills
just
the
yeah.
windmills in the background are moving. It's like it's them in their relationship is flowing, they're happy, they're functioning well. And then when they break up, like it's something to be aware of, that this is happening, this is them influencing each other, doing the windmill thing. And I
Mm.
think, yeah, that scene is greatly placed there. It's a good
Yeah, it's interesting because I wonder if we'll get a
representation.
revisiting of the whole windmill motif again from
Oh, I
Kang,
think so. I think
because
yes.
I feel like Kang is just cheesy enough to bring it up again, um, but also really mean it because he can't, like, if this lesson taught, like if this episode taught them anything, like at the end of this, is that they don't function without each other. Like they literally just broke down to function.
So then we get the catastrophe.
Well, hang on, we skipped a huge chunk of stuff here.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, we
What?
skipped like we skipped Dad going to watch Salom and us
Oh, I
finding
don't
out.
really
And
have anything to say about
I don't
that.
really have anything to say either, but like I'm just like, I loved King rallying the team as well, winning and scoring for his boyfriend. I thought that was all really cute. That all factored into
Mm,
the whole like how just like pleasant everything was at the beginning of the episode, as to the
mhm.
like absolute opposite in the last like, minute or whatever.
It's just the striking contrast of them being there for each other and how well they function when they're there for each other, and then them not being there for each other and just everything breaking apart.
Yeah, I also thought it was really interesting too because, like, obviously, like things are more foreboding if it happens at night. It's like it's darker, it's more
Mhm.
threatening, it's like everything. But like, if you go back to the first episode, like the very first part of the episode where like Kang wakes up and everything, the room is really white. Like the bedding is white, the sheets are white, like everything is white. Um, even the football jersey that Saloma's wearing of Kang's is white. Like there's a lot of white going on there. So it's very, bright sunlight, natural light. And then yeah, besides this being this happy sort of like vibe, and then at the end it's all like, oh my god, whatever tragedy, blah blah blah. It's like the colors are just so like opposite of one another. Like they're telling us without telling us that this is completely different than what was going on earlier.
Mhm.
And then
Then
I
they
have a lot to
arrive.
say. I have a lot of stuff to say.
And me too. Should I start with the visual stuff and maybe you go on with.
Yep,
Okay,
that's fine.
so I like how this scene is constructed, like how mostly silent it is. When something happens and you're shocked, it's like you don't really perceive all the information because, there's like noise in your ears or something. And so it's mostly silent when they get to Kang's house, the scene. Just a modest piano melody. Kang goes straight to the grandma, and the ambulance and the dad is between Siloam and Kang in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Then the ambulance leaves and Sci-Fi is led out of the house. And then in the shot, the police car is between Sci-Fi and Siloam. And Sci-Fi is on the complete opposite side. And the police car also separates Siloam from Kang's family. So Siloam is alone already from the beginning of the scene.
Mm,
He was separated by the ambulance, the police car, by everything from everyone else.
mm. That's interesting.
Is it?
No, it is. I must admit, like I didn't really think of it in that. I mean, I
But
obviously,
also,
it was obvious to me about the ambulance and the father, but I didn't really think about the fact that it is the start of him being abandoned.
yeah, and also the colors, obviously the red, the everything, like, which is mostly the red is guilty, right? And it's on Siloam, and like, it's beautifully done. This scene, I like it very much.
Mm.
It
Yeah,
it leaves a lesson.
it does. It does leave an impression, and it's like, as you said, it's silent in that. It's like your senses are being dulled.
Yes.
They, and it's because they can't believe they can't believe what's happening. It's so different from where they just were,
Yes.
you know. And it's interesting the way I felt like the way that Kang looks across like this void to Salom. It's like he to me it looked like he was asking him like, what do we do now?
Mm-hmm.
Because he looks to Kang. I mean, sorry, he looks to Salom for this sort of stuff, and like Salom is just lost. He's like he has no idea what's going on.
You're right. The looks they exchange is priceless. They
Mm.
acted their asses off. They're
I
so
know,
good in this.
right? This whole episode is like that though. Like I every single part of this was just acted amazingly.
Show. It's true.
So if we then move to part two, I just yeah, I so after I watched the episode, like I loved this episode. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure I expressed that in the reaction. I was, I'm like, we were right, but we were wrong. We were right in the best way. We were wrong in the best way. Like, and we didn't see certain things coming, and I just, I loved it, right? I had zero problems with any of it. I had lots to think about, lots to say. It was traumatic, hence us temporarily
Same, same,
renaming
same.
our podcast from Drunk and Hysterical to Traumatized and Hysterical. Sorry, what did you say?
Yes.
And then I did something I haven't done before. I went on to Tumblr and I clicked on the dangerous romance tag and then started to rage.
Oh, yeah.
I got so angry. Like I got so angry. Seriously. So okay. So first thing I want to say is that Kang was being so vilified and so much other stuff online, and it really pissed me off. I saw so many negative posts about how he never really changed, how he never loved Salom, how fucked up he was, how wrong he was, and how he sexually assaulted Salom when he was vulnerable. All of these things, and every single one of them made me more angry. And I like it might piss people off, but I just want to say you're all wrong. And let me tell you why, okay? So, I mean, Kang did exactly the same thing in this episode that Salom did. They both reverted to old behavior. Bad behavior, yes. But they both did it. And they did what they know and what had comforted them in the past before they had each other. Like, Kang had anger and hate and stupidity. He lashed out, making himself feel not so small and lost. And Salom kept everyone at a distance, even his friends. Like maybe even especially his friends. And that's not to say he's not a good friend and he's not close with his friends. Like he definitely is. But like he had this mad love for Kang since they were young, and no one Like, none of them knew about it until just recently. And I mean, that's just one thing. Do you know what I mean? But like, it makes you wonder what else they don't know about him. And his moral integrity tells him that he's doing the right thing by not letting anyone all the way in. Like, he tells himself he's trying to keep them out of the mess that his life is becoming. And he tried to do with Kang too. Like, he tried to keep those parts of himself separate from Kang in their relationship. And then this happened, and like, his fears have been confirmed that now that Kang has seen the dark part of his life, you know, like, and how dark it is, and how not worth the risk Selom is. Like, that is what's, you know, is sort of communicated to him. And one of the saddest things for me in this episode is that he had finally started to let Kang in. Like, even though Salom expected Kang to eventually like leave, and then he did, we see how Salom's like let him in throughout the episode in just these little bits and pieces. But it's like, it's such a juxtaposition of like him not fighting for them, and like rather just becoming this like passive person in his own destiny. Like, he doesn't fight at all. He's so opposite to how he was when like
In
he first
episode
started
1 and 2.
interacting, yeah, when he first started interacting with. And I feel like Kang isn't wrong here. Like, he's upset, he's scared, and he's confused, right? So we cut to the police station where Kang promises to be there and support Salom. I feel like as a viewer, you can see that Salom is conflicted. Like, I feel like you can tell he has doubts here about his brother. He thinks like maybe he's guilty, you know, and he apologizes to Kang. Like, he's blaming himself for exposing Kang and his family to his brother and like their world, essentially. And then Kang has gotten into this habit of like taking all these cues from Salom. Like, he trusts him, he respects his judgment, he's guided by him. But at first, Kang tries to support him, like, while Salom's having these doubts, because he probably feels like, I feel like, you know, in the earlier scene we had, like when Sapphire turned up with Grandma after she came home from hospital, you know, we saw Kang in that moment as well sort of look to Salom as if to see like how he should be reacting to this. But he probably also like feels that maybe, you know, I mean, I don't know how what Kang's thoughts are here, but I mean, he might think, you know, it's like we're all a little bit harsh when it comes to our own family and stuff. Sometimes we don't give them enough of the benefit. Like, we are like, you know, tougher on them than anyone else, but like we're also like more protective of them than anyone else, you know. And so maybe he just thought he was being whatever. So he's like, he tries to support him. But when the policeman says that Sapphire can confess, like, he can't anymore because he can't process this new information in a rational way. Like, straight away he goes like into his like old hot-headed mode, like his father. Like, he's completely unreasonable until he's got some distance to work through it. And I feel like Kang saw Salom's doubt at the start of this scene, like we the viewer did. And so then to be told that Sapphire confessed, he can't process that. Like, so now in his brain, what he's being told is that his boyfriend's brother shot his father. And it's like, he's really hasty here in his actions. Like, he is, of course he is, but it makes sense for his character. Like, it doesn't mean he didn't change, and it doesn't mean he doesn't love Salom. It just means that he's fucking scared. Like, he can't have Salom now, right? Like, they can't still be together when his brother shot his father. Like, that would be a portrayal of his father, right? If he did that. I mean,
Any person would react not be calm in such a situation, who would react well in hearing something like this.
exactly. But the funny thing about this part of the scene is that I feel like, you know, okay, so at the start I feel like Salom had doubts about Safai and his innocence, but like, as soon as the policeman says he confessed, like, Salom then knows for sure that his brother didn't do it. I feel like Safai has the personality that if he had done it, he wouldn't have confessed. He's like kind of talked his way around things when he's done stuff in the past that he knows is morally like gray. And when Salom has like called him on it or whatever, he like tries to like, you know, avoid it or talk his way around it. Like, he's less likely to confess if he really did it, if that makes any
Mhm.
sense. And I feel like he knows that about his brother. Like, we know these things about, like, you know, our family, like if we're close to them. He understands like that part of Sapphire's personality, I think. But so like, as as Salom is like becoming no longer convinced that his brother is guilty, all Kane can hear in this bit, because like as soon as like Sapphire hears that, that's when he starts to sort of go in defense of Sapphire, and he's like, you know, wanting to speak to him and help him and all these sorts of things. And in this moment, all Kang can hear is that Safi's guilty was confirmed because he confessed, and now Salom is like trying to like fight and stick up for his guilty brother, I guess. So it
Mm-hmm.
puts them both in kind of a really weird position. Now if like it had been some random person that Safi had confessed to shooting, Kang probably would have trusted Salom's judgment here. But it wasn't a random person. It's his father. Like he has this extremely complicated relationship with, and whom he's desperately, trying to reconnect and with, and now that may never happen. Like, so you've got all this happening at the same time. And I saw, oh, so many posts about how prejudiced he is in the coming scene with the grandma in the hospital. And, but like, he's basically telling his justifications for like what he does here. And it's obvious he doesn't mean a word of it. Like, you can
Yes.
see when he's finished talking, like when he's speaking here, he knows he's lying. And you can see the fear and doubt in his face when he's speaking.
Lately obvious that he doesn't mean what he's saying
Yeah,
there.
exactly. And like he tells her off, he's ranting about the poor, and it's like words he's clearly heard before. Like kids mimic stuff they hear. And I'm not calling him a kid, but I'm just saying, like, you grow up hearing something, or and stuff like that. And if we take like his father's behavior, previous behavior with Safi into account, his father does have an existing prejudice against people who have less than them. So it's something he's heard before. He's parroting what he's heard before. And it's not something that we've actually ever seen him really express himself. Like, even when he was bullying Salom at the start, like, he kind of said a couple of things, and I would have to go back to watch to see exactly what he says. But it's more about trying to get a rise out of Salom than actually, like, it's something that he thinks. It's like he would try something, and when that didn't work, he was like, okay, what can I try next,
I
And
just think it was easier for him to believe that stuff at the beginning.
uh, oh, of course. I mean, and look, I mean, but I honestly don't think he looks at Salom and sees someone poor willing to do
No, I
anything for
don't think
money.
so. I don't think so either.
Yeah. And I mean, he knows Salom isn't like that. Like, that's part of their problem later on in this episode, is that Salom wasn't willing to do anything because he's only willing to sacrifice himself. And that's the one thing that scares and pisses Kang off the most, right? Like, Salom could have taken the watch. I mean, I know Kang doesn't know about this, but like, he could have taken the watch, he could have taken his friend's assistance, or he even could have turned to Kang, right? Which, let's face it, the way he rings Kang and Kang comes running to his rescue, he would have probably been receptive to. But instead, he uses himself, right, to try and solve his problems. He wants Salom to come to him to take from him, but he won't. He knows the words that he's saying to Grandma are a lie, but at the same time, he can't accept that because that would mean he's really fucked up for no reason. And I feel like people were getting really hung up on the rich versus poor thing with this not only this episode, but like this entire show. And I feel like it isn't even really about that. I feel like it's about blood family and found family. And I mean, like, they're clinging to their blood family, both of them in this episode, because, like, well, that's what you do. And yet they're rejecting this found family that they've got between them, where, like, at the moment, it's actually given them both more than anything else. But they can't have it, right? They can't have both. It's like they're broken and they're lost and it's hopeless. And I feel like people saying Kang is dumb because it wasn't like Salom did anything wrong here. But it's not even about the fact that he's poor and Kang is rich. And it's not even about the fact that Salom has not done anything or done something. This whole, like, him reverting to where he was and lashing out and the poor versus rich thing and all that is because the fact that is rattling around in Salom's head, sorry, not Salom's head, in Kang's head, is that Salom's brother shot his father. Like, it's just that. It's that simple. It doesn't matter who's rich, who's poor. It doesn't matter, like, who did what or whatever. It's like he can't get past that because it's like he can't he can't how can you be with someone who did that? Like, and Salom, yes, Salom didn't do it, it was his brother, supposedly, right? But there's no rational thought here. He's emotional, he's scared, his father is in like a coma or whatever. Like, why are
And
people holding him
the fact,
accountable for this?
yeah.
Like, I'm so frustrated with people being like, I mean, I would love to know how half the people who are like saying shit would actually feel if they were in a similar situation. Like, how do you think you would react if, you know, this situation was happening? Like, honestly, most people would be just as big a basket case as he is being in this, you know, whole area here. Like, he's even worse because he's pushed Salom away, and like Salom is his like his compass, and so he can't have him. He's not safe. Neither of them are. They're alone. They're scared. And because of this, he doesn't understand how to make it work, like how to fix it, how to fix his dad, how to fix the relationship. He reverts back to how he was before it all started, before he started spending time with Salom. And Salom does the same. He expects pain and loneliness as his fate. He rejects help and support from his friends. He doesn't fight Kang because this is his life. He doesn't expect to get the shiny, happy thing that he's loved and wanted for years. Like, it's not for him. He doesn't get nice things. You know, his life is cold and stark in its reality, and it's filled with loneliness, fear, and pain. And yet, when he's really scared and at his lowest point, when he's at his most vulnerable he's ever been in his life, he still calls Kang because he trusts him to save him. And deep down, he understands that Kang will save him. But desperately, I feel like he wants Kang to be the one to save him, and like the only one to see him vulnerable. And it's really, I feel like that's really important because every other time that he's been vulnerable around Kang, it's been out of his control. And I guess we could argue that his, you know, like his functionality in terms of like mental capacity is limited here because of the drugs that he's been given. But he's in his, you know, like in his most desperate, this is where he's gone. And I feel like the really interesting, while this is all happening, like Kang is living up to and meeting Salom's expectations of being his savior. Like, he's rescuing him. He may not even realize that, I think, Salom in this whole episode, or this whole like past few episodes, but he's gotten used to Kang being the one that's there for him. He had this expectation. It's so funny. There's like we've talked so much about like how Salom, how Kang just really wants people to have expectate, or specifically his father, but he's transferred that to Salom now, to have these expectations of him. And this is an expectation that Salom has of him in this episode, and he meets it like wholeheartedly. And I don't know if he even will realize that. I'm so desperate for their conversations in the next episode. Like, I'm like, oh. But yeah, I just feel like he expects him to be there even when everything's completely fucked up between them. He still expected Kang to turn up, and he did. Um, but yeah, I just feel like the whole speech with grandma bit is just a justification of his actions to himself. Like, he needs to believe it, or he'll lose his mind even more than he already is, because if he's wrong, he just destroyed like the only happiness and pure thing that he has had for himself. And like, I feel like he's truly a boy who owns everything but nothing of true value, since his mother died and got sick. Rather, got sick and died. Oh, I got that around the wrong way. And that's a really bad time to laugh, but you know what I mean. I'm just like, whoops. But yeah, and so we had so many things that like came from this like one horrific scene at the beginning of part two. Because it spurned into what I'm sure you've probably got lots to talk about, and that is the scenes we then had following with Kang crying alone in his room. And
I actually have something to say about the scene from the police station as well.
Okay, please go ahead.
I think it's interesting that at the beginning, Salom believes that he brother did it, and then he even apologizes to Kang, and Kang says, "No, it's not confirmed yet. I will stay by your side." I had this idea, but maybe Salom doesn't really believe that it's happening, but it's just this is the narrative right now, that
Mm,
Saifa is the guilty person, and this is justified, not justified. But look what he says next. The whole country must be condemning my brother right now. So basically, it doesn't even matter if it's true or not. He's done. He's done for. I mean, his name is, he's involved in this whole situation.
mm,
His brother will be blamed no matter what. There will be people that will say, oh, he did it. He, like, they will not get out of this mess clean.
Yeah.
And also, there's also this thing that you hold the burden of your relative's sins,
Mm.
and no matter if he did it or not, like they're already involved in this situation, and it's already messy, and he probably feels it's this he brought this onto Kang.
Well, I mean, I feel like as well, like to that end, even if Safi is innocent, if this is to do with name, is if it's to do with name's bosses or their debt or whatever, if it is in any way, shape, or form has anything to do with that, then he's gonna feel guilty because him being there
Yes.
meant Safi was there, meant name was there, meant all of that bad stuff was brought to their door. Like it's like
Yeah,
a,
and
six
he
degrees of
realizes
separation kind of thing.
he realizes that even if his brother is not guilty, the mess is too big and it involves him, and it cannot work between him and Kang anymore. This
Yeah.
is his thought. This is how what he looks like, and then to have Kang give him reassurance and say, no matter what happens, I will go through this. We will go through this together. Like this gives him confidence and strength to
Mm.
like to fight back, to ask like maybe he's not wrong, how can he be wrong, like like how can maybe he's not guilty, what is happening, I need to talk to him, this gives him strength. And then only to have it all, like only to have this support taken away in a few seconds. I think he
Like,
did not have time to consider what Saifa's confession would do to Kang, but he
no,
already knew was not going to work out.
it's funny because I watched a reaction, or I watched a couple of reactions to the episode on YouTube, and I remember seeing someone was struggling a little bit with this scene because they said like I can't buy it. It doesn't make sense to me that he would be like this earnest and be like, I'm gonna be there for you, and then like 5 minutes later he's like, peace out bitches. And it's like, well, no, hang on a minute. It's really easy for him in the beginning of that scene to say, I'm going to be with you, I'm going to support you no matter what, because he doesn't have all the information yet. How is he going to know how he was going to feel if Safi was actually guilty? Like he's
And
assuming.
plus, he trusts Salem so fucking much, and
Exactly.
maybe he kind of judges his brother. Maybe he
Yeah.
thinks his brother is kind of like Salem, and
Yeah.
Salem would say if he's guilty. What if he thinks if his brother saying he's guilty is like cannot be untrue?
Yeah.
And
I feel.
in the moment when Salem starts justifying his brother and not being sure, it's like in this moment, Kang rips the pedestal from under Salom's feet because his judgment failed in his eyes. Like, this is
Mm,
his brother is guilty, and now Salom is defending him, and now, like, Kang is so confused. He's
yeah.
literally in the dark. Like, if you look
He
at the
feels
colors,
let
he's in
down a little bit. Yeah.
he's in
I
the
think.
shadow. He's like in black. Everything is dark about him. He doesn't know what's happening. Like his
Yeah.
judgment is lost. And while Salome is in the light because we know he's not guilty. Even if his brother did it, he is not guilty, and we know it because it's easier for us not to judge things logically. But for
Mm,
Kang, it's too messy. It's too much in that moment, and
yeah.
he's in the dark.
It's an instinctual reaction, he says, and you're probably very much true actually, in that he probably is judging Safi initially with the same spectrum that he judges Salom on. And as you said at the beginning of this scene, he's still on his pedestal. Salom can do no wrong, um, and he trusts him. Whereas. And as you said, it turns it around. He starts questioning what he knows about Salom when Safi suddenly becomes untrustworthy. It reminds me of the scene with the little boy that they give the soccer ball and shoes and that to, where he brings the food to them and says, "Oh, you must have a really good father because he's got such a good son."
Hmm.
It's very similar to that maybe, because that moment, like when the little boy said that to Kang, it actually made him think a little bit. Like you could see in his mind, like you could see him thinking about what the kid had just said to him.
Hmm.
Um, and while he didn't really buy it necessarily, it bothered him enough to realize that he had made bad choices, like in selling the bike and whatever else. it made him question himself. So like in this scene, what you said totally makes sense to me. Like that he would transfer his trust to Salom to Safai, and giving him the benefit of the doubt in the initial start of that, and then it all just goes horribly wrong.
Now I want to speak about the scene where Salome is leaving the house. I think it's interesting that Salome is wearing a striped shirt. And even the shirt that he folds when he's in the house packing up is a striped one. It's
Okay,
black and
wow,
white.
you paid way more attention than I did.
It's like he is in jail already. He is being
Yeah.
judged. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's weird that both the shirt that he's wearing and the shirt that he's folding is a white one in black stripes.
Mm.
And Kang is like there's light in Salome's room, while Kang is alone in darkness, wearing black, hugging the pillow and being utterly destroyed by the void he feels inside of him.
Yeah.
How like
Self-inflicted pain. It always hurts the
yes.
most.
And then we see the flashback of if you open this door, will you open your heart for me? Well, Salome goes through the bathroom. His heart is open. Now Kang's door is the closed one, and Salome does not dare to knock on Kang's door. He feels guilty. He feels he doesn't have the right to do it. He doesn't have the right to try. Even besides the fact that Kang threw him out, he feels guilty because of all this mess. He
Mm.
doesn't want. He feels like he brought this onto Kang's head.
Mm. I feel like it's funny because I feel like with this scene we had so many, I feel like, interesting flashbacks, and like at
Mhm.
least half of them contained the umbrella, which I thought was interesting. So
Mm.
like we have like the first one we have is like how happy Kang was when Salom first moved in. He arrived, he had the umbrella, and Kang remembers, I feel like, in that moment, like how happy he was with Salom. And
Mhm.
then we see Salom remembering, as you said, when Ken gave him the second umbrella, like remembering how cared for he felt, how special, reminding him of that precious kid who was so kind to him. And then he remembers them in his bed, and then, being sweet. And as you said, how Kang asked him to open the door and let him into his heart. And we have Salom moving to the door, as you said. Like, I feel like was he considering to maybe do the same thing? Was he like thinking about saying goodbye? But ultimately, yeah, he withdraws. He's like, he decides against it. He's not, welcome. The door is shut. Um, and it's so funny because this scene, like, just kept coming back to all of our theories and stuff with bathrooms and doors and stuff, and it was
Mhm.
driving me crazy. But yeah, Kane crying on the other side of the door and going into Salom's room, like just after he's left, like it's like he didn't, his reaction in this scene is so visceral. It's like he didn't say goodbye, he didn't fight for them, he just gave up and let Kane go, right? And
Yeah,
then
because Kang looks so vulnerable and miserable, crying, hugging the pillow and crying, and he looks at the door. I feel like he's now in the dark. He's in this jail that he made for himself, and he wants to get rescued right now by Salome.
yeah,
He wants Salome to knock, to get in and shake him up, to do the "won't you come to your senses" that he does to Salome later.
yeah, I feel
He
like
wants
it's,
Salome to come. He wants Salome to come in and tell me you're not right.
yeah, you're
This is
wrong.
bad
He That's right.
to set him
That's right. He needs Salom to set him free and set him on the right path,
straight.
essentially.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so interesting to me because this scene is like, it's so funny. Like, I'm always watching dramas and stuff, and I'm like going, oh god, like if they didn't do this, then this wouldn't happen. But like, that's the whole point. Like, they're creating drama, right? So, but this scene I felt like was really clever because I felt like I could still see those pockets of like moments where, if Kang had gone to the door a little bit, quicker, he would have found Salom standing on the opposite side with his hand out, about to knock, and would that have changed things between them? Would it have been another hostile engagement, or would it have been, I don't think so. I feel like they would have been an embrace or something
He was
because Kang
already
was
too much
broken,
in pain. He needed him. He
drowning.
was going down the rabbit hole, and he was too hurt. Like he needed Salome. He needed that hug. He needed
Yeah. I
to
feel
feel
like
the void.
I feel like if
When
they
he
had
comes
gotten
to,
physically close in that moment, it would have, like, maybe not resolved everything, but it would have been the start of it.
Mhm. So when does come to his senses, it's too late, and he is overcome by regret.
So,
Then we see Salome outside, and it's
out in the
raining, and
rain.
he looks back at the house, and we get the flashback of Salome confessing his feelings to Kang, because this is how he feels again, alone with his feelings, broken, vulnerable, resigned. He lives by himself, and it's a callback to episode 4, because in episode 4, Kang meets him at the gate, and like in that moment, Kang is. Remember, we were talking about how Kang looks like he's in prison, and Salome is rescuing him, and it's like he leaves Kang in this darkness in his prison
Mm.
behind,
I
and
also,
he lives by himself. I mean, Kang does not. I don't know why. I mean, logically, he wouldn't probably be there to help him go. I mean, why not? I mean, I don't know. Why not help him to walk him to the gates or something? But the fact that he lives by himself accentuates the fact that he did not fight. He just
yeah.
accepted
And
the
it's
situation and left.
it's interesting that you mentioned, like, Salam out in the rain and the flashback. It's interesting because yes, it's totally interpretive that way, but it's also the scene that we get just before, like, this epic acting of Perth's when he comes in the room. So you're
The
right,
what
we get
have I
this.
done?
Yeah, so you're right. We get this flashback of Salom's rain confession where Kang's like trying to
Mhm,
push him away towards
mhm,
Pimfar, right? And the
mhm,
way Salom fought back in that is he confesses his feelings for him.
mhm.
Um, and like, oh my god, Perth's acting in this scene is so fucking good. Like, he's just like, I truly
His
believe that he
eye,
was
his
dying. Yeah.
eyes. Oh my God.
And it's like
He was.
finding finding that umbrella that had been witness to their relationship, because let's face it, that's what we're seeing. Like, I feel like in this, with the choices that they've made in this, I know some people think that the umbrellas represent, their love or King's protection, but I feel like in
Some
this
people,
moment,
us, it's us, Zoe.
oh, but I feel like in this moment, it's a physical reminder that Salom is gone and wants nothing from him. Um, that he
Yeah,
wasn't,
that's true.
he wasn't.
Leaving their whole history behind.
That's right. He
Leaving him
wasn't
behind.
worth, yeah, he wasn't worth fighting for. So this time Kang's pushed him away and Salom didn't fight. He just gave up and let him go. And so Kang
Right.
destroys this umbrella. Like, I feel like an endgame reveal would be the one that he gave to Salom when they were kids, for like Kang to express some regret for destroying this umbrella and for Salom to give him the other umbrella back. Um like, my head canon about the umbrellas, because there was two and they're matching and they mean, like, the umbrella means so much to Kang, is that one was his and the other matching one belonged to the mother. And I feel
Well,
like
this is what we talked about. Actually listen to the first episode, and we talked about it.
oh, did we?
This is
Yeah.
something.
And I feel
Yeah.
like maybe, like, he gave his to Selom, and then Kang's mother gave her his umbrella. And I'm just like, and then you mentioned about Salom leaving and the gates closing, and you were like, it's like he's shutting Kang into his prison. And it's interesting because you feel that later on, like when he goes to see grandma, like he can't stand to be at home by himself. It has become a prison, right? So, but besides that, I remember we were talking about, like, if we do want to get into the whole class distinctions and stuff like that, I remember when we talked about this gate scene initially, when Salom arrived and everything and Kang let him in. It was like he was getting let into, the inner sanctum, so to speak. And when you see this
Mhm,
scene as well, the other flip side, besides Kang being, closed into his self-made prison, um
mhm.
you also see Salom being shut out and being locked
Yeah.
out. He's now an outsider again.
Mhm. I also want to say regarding the scene where Kang loses his shit. I mean, look at him. No wonder he goes back to his old ways. No wonder he goes into his shell with his stupid, poor people bad, Salom bad ideas. He has to protect himself. He has to do this. Otherwise, he is out of his mind with grief and loss and desperation and anger. He can't stand the idea that he's in the wrong here. Like,
Mm,
it's destroying him in this loneliness. Like, no wonder this aggressive denial in the scene with the grandma. Look at him when he actually, is in touch with the idea that he lost Salom, and like when he's aware of the fact that he lost this, that he
mm,
lost this thing that was so important, that he needed so much.
mm. And it's the thing is
It is
he that
something.
he literally the only thing that he has in this like moving forward in this like middle section of this episode is his like outrage and this like false narrative that he's clinging to, because without that he has nothing. He has nothing left.
Yes. So then we had the weird scene between Name and Grandma, where he says something like, "Oh, I can't believe Seifa is guilty," and
Oh,
Grandma is,
the other thing I wanted to say with Name as well, like I thought that it was really strange that as well, like to we were talking about his guilt, non-guilt before. Like
"Mm,
his okay, so when he went and spoke to the boss said to him, um, yes, I'll let you free, but you have to do this thing for me first or whatever.
mm,
If he's guilty, like why the fuck is he still there? Like if he went down that trip of like um he's sucked back into the bad stuff, then you would think he would just be gone. If he wanted his
yeah,
freedom and he got his freedom, you'd think he would
yeah,
go, but he's still there.
yeah,
So I
yes,
mean he could still be there just to, I don't know, suss out whether or not they know he's guilty. But like surely if you were guilty and there was a chance that you might get caught, wouldn't you just bugger the fuck off? Because I know I would. I would have been gone like hours ago.
yeah." And then we see the scene where the friends come to help Salom, and he's not happy. And it's not surprising that he doesn't accept. Besides the fact that it's not, it's a transactional thing. Like, he will not just not accept stuff from people. He never did that. He never let people help him. But also, I thought maybe for someone with a debt that's hanging like doom above his head, you never want to owe anyone anything.
Mm.
A person with big debt.
Well, that's right. You're
And
not wanting to get into that again. And the other thing is this, what do they say? They say like, never borrow money from friends or
from
family,
friends,
because
yeah.
it's like the worst thing you can do. And ultimately it turns into some sort of problem.
Like,
Um
he is comfortable with giving stuff for free, but not so much with the receiving. But he did accept Kang's help in a way,
mm,
but he gave himself body and soul as kind of a payment for it.
yeah. I feel like
Plus,
Kang is also, without him even realizing it, he is the exception to the rule for Salom for many things. Like it's gonna take him a while to get there, but he will get there because Kang is the exception. Um
plus, I do think that he means it when he says he doesn't want to involve anyone in this mess because, oh my God.
yeah.
And yeah, and he still feels, you will feel guilty, you'll feel ashamed if something like this is happening and it's
Oh, of
connected to
course.
someone's family, and especially now that Saifa confessed, like, people would judge you, and it's
Yeah, well, it's like you said,
horrible.
like he assumes everybody's going to think the worst no matter what. So,
Yeah, I
like,
think he doesn't even blame Kang that much, because he thinks, it's his fault for bringing this
yeah,
whole
I
mess.
think he just thought it was inevitable, like what
Yeah.
happened with Kang. It doesn't mean that like he's happy about it, but I just think that he's like it was always going to happen. I
Probably
wanted
he
to
even feels
say,
guilty for hurting Kang.
sorry.
He might even feel guilty for hurting Kang,
Yeah,
which is interestingly would make him feel even worse and even more worthless.
yeah. And I wanted to say
Because
something about,
he thought he can make a difference in Kang's life, but he made it worse.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Like he's busily like behind the scenes trying to make things better with his father and all the rest of it, and now it's just even like, yeah, I just said worse than when he got there. Um, this was something else I saw online that really kind of pissed me off. Is I saw some people talking about like having issues with the fact that their friends essentially only reached out to Salom and not Kang, and like to me, like, to
My
that
God.
I want to say, how do you know they didn't? Like, just because
Oh,
we didn't see that, like, we saw this scene because it's important to the story. Like, the friends reaching out to Kang, how does that benefit anything other than like making you feel better because like his friends reached out to him? Like, it serves no purpose. Like, you can assume they reached out to him, but like, this part of the story was included so Salom could reject them, and that's basically it, right?
there's
Like,
purpose, yeah. So we can see that he's isolating himself. There's
that's right.
there's meaning. You should ask yourself why a scene is included, because there has to be meaning behind everything.
That's
And this
right.
is
Like,
why we love this series so much, because
that's right. They only get like
everything.
48 minutes or something. They have to like pick and choose what they show us. They're not just going to show us like every random thing. Like, it's
And
important to.
what would be the meaning of seeing them reach out to Kang? What would be the meaning?
That's right.
Like, I mean, of course, yeah, but the meaning here is that they want to help him, even though Saifa said he's guilty, and the fact that he just doesn't want to involve them, and he isolates himself, and he declines the help.
That's right.
This
Like,
is quite important.
it's like the visual representation of what Kang is verbally doing, which is reverting back to his old self. And the other thing about that, the other way they use this scene and the friends coming is the knock on the door. And I don't know like how he felt, but like when I was watching that scene, my first thought was, oh crap, it's the Depp people.
Me
Like,
too.
right? So
Me
I
too.
feel like there was like multiple reasons to include this scene. And I feel like besides like Salom, Kang would not have really been that receptive to his friends in this. I don't think, like,
Yeah,
he
same,
doesn't
same.
have
Yes.
the same deep connection with them. Like, his deepest connection is with his best friend and ex, Salom. um like, and I feel like they might be getting closer, but I don't think he would have listened to them at this point. Like, he's just not there yet. Like, he's really not there yet. And I feel like them touching base with him would have looked a bit like, I feel like it would have pissed people off anyway, because I feel like they would have reached out to him to show like support or whatever. Found like, can you imagine Nava or Max realizing that like that Kang has like cut Salom out of his life because maybe his brother's guilty of shooting his dad or whatever. They're just going to be like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, you're obsessed with this guy. What are you doing? Like, he didn't do anything. Like, I don't think that would have been receptive by Kang.
Mhm.
It would have just been like the same sort of conversation he had with
Yeah,
grandma, basically.
exactly.
And we have that scene already. We have that conversation with grandma. We didn't need it with Kang and his friends. And so, like, and the point of that would be, and like, you could go, oh well, that's just bad friendship. Well, it's not bad friendship, because they've seen him with Salom. They know what Salom means to him. They know how Salom has changed him. They have all changed because of Salom and Kang's relationship. And so,
Hmm.
and nothing bad, like, this stuff hasn't touched them, so they would not be looking at it in the same way that Kang is looking at it. So
Yeah.
they would be advocates for Salom and like for them getting back together again, and that is not something that Kang would listen to anyway. So it would be completely pointless having that scene. It would have been redundant, because as I said, he already has a scene with grandma where grandma's like, maybe he's innocent, blah blah blah, and he gets really like, we see his reaction. So
Hmm.
the reason why we saw the friendship scene with Salom and the friends is like, it makes sense to that storyline. It's the focus of
Yes.
that storyline. And so it wasn't that they didn't reach out necessarily. It's just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in this moment, because you assume that they did. Like, you have to assume they did, but like, they're not going to show us that, because that would be dumb. I'm just like, why people get fixated on stuff like this? Like, do you want to watch an episode that's like 7 hours long? And you would be they would be complaining then. They would be like, why did they show us all this crap? Like, nothing happened. It was so boring. Like, oh.
I
Anyway,
don't know. I'm confused. I don't know why. I mean, maybe they just already decided that they don't like something, and they just refuse
yeah.
to buy stuff.
It's so funny though,
And so,
because like the points of view are so conflicting. Like, on Tumblr, I was getting
mhm,
whiplash back and forth, because people either hating and vilifying Kang for like being this way, or they
Mhm.
were like, you know, like, oh, poor Kang, like Salom's getting everything, and it's like, well, really, no, Salom's not getting jack shit. But I was just like, anyway, I felt it warranted like a conversation, because clearly, as I said, the scene is there because it has a point. It drives the story.
I don't
um
know. I love the fact that we're vibing so much. I feel like we're getting we're understanding what they wanted to say. They clearly didn't want to make everyone hate Kang at the end of the series. There's meaning behind it. There's a reason for everything that's happening. Why would they just make him into a jerk that everyone stops loving because he's a jerk? Why are we even watching this series? Like,
yeah,
you're obviously not getting something.
I
You're
know,
not
right?
misunderstanding
I
something.
feel, yeah, I feel like if you've watched this much and that's how you feel, you should probably just stop and like turn off the television, go outside, and like, I don't know, go for a walk or something, because like you've missed the point. So why waste any more of your time, right? Like, unless you're going to. And I'm also like, if I'm upsetting somebody who's listening to us, I'm also kind of like, if this is where you're at, like, why are you listening to us? Because clearly you must think that we're completely wrong and insane. There's better ways for you to spend your time, but if you are listening to us and you agree, well, welcome. um
So
but
I
yeah,
realize.
I'll let you go where you want to go with this. And then I did want to make a comment, because you brought up the transactional behavior before, and I had something I wanted to say about that. But so yeah,
Oh,
continue.
just say it, then I'll go on with school and the grandma.
Yeah. Okay. So I saw this quote the other day, and it made me really sad about Salom's habit of transactional behavior that I have been like banging
Oh,
on for like, I don't know how many episodes is this now. Um and the quote is, if you keep treating everything as a transaction, you're gonna get shortchanged. And I was just like, ah, it got me in the feels. I was like, ouch, I feel personally attacked. And it made me so sad, because it's so true. Like, Salom is gonna miss out if he keeps doing this. And we see that in this episode with him pushing away his friends, you know, like their offer for help. Like, this was an opportunity to have an easier time, but also to get closer and build deeper relationships with his friends, but he rejects them. And then we have the escort scene, which is coming up, and he almost loses again because of the sexual assault, like the almost sexual
mhm.
assault. So he's shortchanging himself. And I got so like, when I was thinking about it, I was like, I was so sad for him, and I was just like, oh, I wanted to shake him a little bit. Um, but I
Why
loved that
won't you come
quote.
to your senses?
Sorry.
Why won't you come to your senses?
I know, right? Like, I'm going to yell in your face and like try and get you to wake the fuck up.
Yeah,
But
so I realized. I know you had a conversation about the fact what would happen if Salom went back to school, and how would Kang react if he saw the
yes.
friends be there for Salom and everything. And the thing is, Salom was always dependent on Kang's dad's money, his scholarship,
Yeah.
and provided by Kang's dad's money. Like, he's not going back to school. I think he's not
Ah.
going to do that. Why is he working two shifts? Because he's not going to school anymore.
Yeah, I did think that actually. I did wonder if he was.
Like, of course he's not going back to school. Like, he lost it from his point of view. Like, he would not dare.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was thinking about this as well. Like, even just like when he went to Korot with Kang, when he was like on his little like road trip of, baggage,
Mhm.
he and then staying with him for the football tournament and all the rest of it. Like, you assume like he was, before they even like ran away, the conversation was that he would go with them. And he said Kang said he would like shore it up with his parent, like with not his parents, but like with his dad and his grandma. And I got the impression from that conversation that by that, like, his absence from school would be covered essentially, by an explanation from, say, grandma to the school, whoever,
Mhm.
administration or whatever. And so there would be no repercussions from him not being there, because I'm pretty sure there would be things on his scholarship, like there would be conditions, like how much he could be absent, like what his grade had to be, certain things like that he would have to maintain, otherwise he
Mhm.
would potentially lose his scholarship. So I did think about that. And then when we had the scene and he's back at the car wash and he says about working 2 shifts and all the rest of it, I was like, I had the same sort of thought. He's not going to school right now. And I don't think Kang is either. I think Kang is just like,
Lost. He
yeah.
does not exist. He does not. The windmill is not moving at all.
Yeah, he doesn't
And
want
then,
to. He doesn't want to speak and interact with anyone. I don't think,
yeah.
except for
And then
Salom.
I saw someone online be angry that apparently in the book, Grandma is the one who shoots at Kang and, throws him out of the house.
You mean
And
shouts at Salom?
yeah, at Salom, and throws him out of the house. And they were kind of angry that she didn't act like she did in the book. And I think it wouldn't have fit her character the
Yeah,
way, I don't know what happened in the book, but the way she was represented here, it makes total sense the way she behaves.
yeah. There's no way in like I honestly I think we had this conversation the other day when like in the last couple of days about I honestly don't think she probably even realizes that Salom is no longer living there, because she would have a lot to say about that. Like I feel like she's, even if she's in this point in this conversation, she's unsure that Sophia is guilty. And
I don't
so
know. I think maybe she knows, but I don't think she's the one who threw him out. Maybe she like kind of respected his decision to leave,
yeah, but I
because
that's
I don't think she tried to hold him in the
oh no,
house
I don't mean
like
like that, but I mean like if she knew that Kang had kicked him out, I don't think she would have agreed with that. And I feel like if she knew, she may have like mentioned it in this scene. Like she may have said,
I think,
like it's
yeah,
not
I
his
think
fault.
maybe they just didn't comment, and she thought he decided to leave on his own, and she just respected his decision to do
Yeah.
that.
It'd be interesting to find out later on, like if there's any sort of, if we actually find out if she, when she, if and when she knows, because as I said, I really do feel like she doesn't probably know at this point anyway. Um,
So Grandma asks Kang why is he there so late, and my guess is that like we talked about how he probably can't sleep in that
yeah.
big empty house, and you had this idea that he right he
Oh yeah, look,
probably
like I said, look, this is at this point, I'm like anyone who doesn't think that Kang is spending his days and nights alone when he's not at the hospital in Salom's bed, sobbing while clutching his pillow and wallowing in Salom's lingering but fading scent is an idiot, in my opinion.
but I don't really agree with this because of the way he decided that he is right. He has to protect himself and his judgment, and I think he doesn't really want to spend time there. It might
Oh,
make him feel good.
oh look, that's why I think he's leaving, because I think it's torture to stay. Um,
Exactly.
I do think he has done that though. Like I would be really surprised to find that he has,
Maybe
but
I think maybe he did that when Ceylon left, but then
mm,
he had to retreat into his shell. And when he did that, I don't think he dared to go back there, because it would mean that it would be like an admission of the fact that
yeah.
he what he did is fucking wrong. And
He may also just be, it may be like when when you're with other people, like so you have this thing, but when
you
you're
know, I'm
public
I'm
or
saying
you're with
this.
other people and you feel the need to justify your actions, like I feel like
uh and
like
then when
when
you're by
he's in,
yourself,
yeah, and then he goes back home and he's like
uh-huh. No, I get it, because I'm saying this, but at the same time, I have this theory that Kang has actually been kind of stalking Salom. Maybe it's highly possible. It is possible. So then, Grandmaster says that someone who loves his brother, like say Fa does, wouldn't put his brother in such a situation, and Kang feels called out.
oh
And she
yeah.
says maybe Saifa was cursed, which sounds like a plausible idea coming out of her mouth, actually.
Mm.
And so also Kang's poor people bad, like oh, like this is obviously not something that's he is meant to say here. Like there are so many things that he's trying to say through this, but not this is not what he means here. Like I don't.
Yeah.
You said a lot. You said enough about this. I don't even want to talk about it.
Mm.
So then we have the scene of. Do you want to say something else?
No, I think I'm good. Oh no, I did want
I
to say something. Sorry, it's got nothing to do with Kang and Grandma, but it's part of part 3 or 4, and that is the guy and Nava stuff, the cute stuff on the roof. That's great, but I'm like, okay, where are they gonna kiss? I have to say that because I'm starting to question that they are a second couple. I'm starting to think that they're just having a bromance, and that's great. But I'm just like, they went up on the roof. Now in BLs, that means something. And I
no,
saw
I don't think
lots
it's
of
a
people
bromance.
posting about the fact that like their rooftop scene was like a crackhead scene, and it totally was, and it was perfect. It suited them perfectly. Um, but I'm like, were we wrong?
No,
Is
I
this
don't
going to
think
be
we
the
were.
thing that we're really wrong about?
I think there's a big chance that we don't get the scene of them actually becoming an item while they're in school, but maybe we both think that there will be flash forward at the end, right? So
I think it's a
maybe there will
possibility.
be a couple. Maybe they are going to be the couple in the future, and
Mm.
that's when we're going to see them being together.
Yeah. I mean, I feel
You
like
know?
it's possible because we have this like, there's been so much discussion and so much talk of like university and the future and all the rest of it. It seems weird for them to end this show before they get there.
Mhm.
So a fast forward makes sense.
Yes, and then the Saifa scene,
Yeah.
Saifa turning around and crying and being like, "Go live your life."
And it's like he turns his back on Salom, like, so it's like a further abandoning as well.
That and also he's trying to hide something.
Oh,
There's
of
like
course
he's not
of
being
course,
truthful. He's not guilty.
yeah,
I mean, he's not guilty of lying right now, but he
yeah.
did not do what he said.
But
He said.
it would still feel like an abandonment to Salom, because Salom is like, why are you doing this? Why is this a better solution than
Why
being
are you
out
not
here
telling
with
me the
me?
truth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, the last scene. I have a lot to say. I know a lot of people struggled with this scene, but I really didn't. Um,
Neither.
I felt like they did such a good job of it that I felt like I knew exactly what was, where they were coming from, and where how we'd got to where we were and things like that. So anyway, so basically King comes and he's angry, like he's scared. This is what he does. He lashes out, right? People I feel like are
You
forgetting their
know, he's angry and he's scared, but you'd think he'd be more violent with the man, try to beat
I
him up
must
or something.
admit, I
But
was
I
like, he
think
does hit him, I think, but I must admit, I was really surprised. But you know what it is? It's that
I know
he's,
he just wants to get him away from Salom and
yeah,
just check
he's,
on him and
he,
make sure he's okay.
That's right. He has tunnel vision, because I feel like in that scene, like, yes, he is grossed out. He is angry. He hates this guy who like touched like Salom and all the rest of it. But like Salom is unconscious and he's just laying there. And I feel like that is way more scary and more of his concern. Like the guy is just an obstacle. He's just a door. Like he's just going to go straight through him and get to Salom. But I must admit, I was expecting more violence. I will confess
But it
that.
does make sense. It does make sense.
It does. It does. It fits for sure. And yeah, I feel like people are forgetting their age here in this scene as well. Like they're so young. And this is such a big thing, like for an adult even. So I feel like this is so much. It's too much, right? Everything that's happened, and that's not just this scene, but like this whole episode. It's too much for like a couple of young, people. Um,
Yeah, but I feel like when the look on Kang's face when she should do you realize it, you just got spiked. Like I feel like Kang's reaction here is a bit similar to the reaction of a parent whose child almost got really, really badly hurt,
well, because
scared and angry.
I feel like he's frustrated because they've sort of had this conversation already, like in regards to like that this is a bad idea and that this isn't a solution.
No, yes, but I mean, in the moment,
Oh
you know, when
yeah.
your child like almost gets hit by a car, yeah, you're angry. It doesn't make sense, but you're fucking angry because you're scared. I
Oh
think this
yeah.
is why he's so fucking angry with Salom here.
Oh, for sure. Like, and like the bit where he says to him, "Can you please come to your senses?" I'm like, obviously he's talking to Salom here, but I feel like he's also talking to himself. I feel like he's seeing what he did, where they are in this moment, like the point they've gotten to, and I really do think he's talking to both of them in this scene. In that moment, to Salom and himself too. I feel like he's talking about his bad behavior and his anger, and he's just like, "Get your shit together," and he's like, very much means that for both of them.
It's so
Um,
funny because this is something that Salom has been saying to him when he tried to, like, when he was angry, when he tried to throw away the bike keys, when he stormed out after having that conflict with his father. Won't you come to your senses? Calm down. Like, this is exactly the same thing. Like, he is
it's interesting,
now
yeah. So
he's doing
yeah,
it to Salom.
it's interesting. It's something he's learned. It's learned behavior. Then yeah. Um, and they lie to each other here. Like every word is like a lie, kind of. Or not a lie, but it's like they're speaking without saying anything or something. I'm not quite sure what I'm trying. But this
Mhm,
is not what they do. Like when they're being honest and when they're being like serious, this is not how they speak to each other. Um,
mhm.
and it's so funny to me because in this show, when they do speak their truths, people get like have such an issue with it. But yeah, so Kang yells here because he's like terrified. Um, and we do that, don't we? Like as you're saying, like when we're scared, like when we, especially when we don't think someone is listening to us, like can they not hear us? Are they ignoring us? So we raise our voice because they're not seeing sense, right? Like we have to get through to them, especially in this sort of situation where you feel like it's a, you know, it's you're so afraid for them. And Salom yells back because he knows what he did wrong, and like they're challenging each other now. And the way Kang,
Actually, at first he says he shoots, "Do you need money this much?"
yeah,
Isn't this what's
I
happening?
think that
And
was another thing.
he
Right.
throws some money on him, and Salom looks up and says nothing. And you know, it's funny because if you'd actually believe that in if he actually believes in what he told his grandma, that poor people are bad, they use them and hurt them, like why is he asking this? Why is he asking and expecting Salom to tell him that no, he doesn't need his money? Because this is what he's waiting for.
Yeah,
And he gets
because
more riled up and escalates the situation when he doesn't receive the response that he
yeah,
wants.
that's right, because he's expecting to be told he's wrong by Salom,
And
and
Salom
he'll
says
believe
nothing.
him, right? So, and this is this whole bit here, right? Like the way Kang looks at him, like he's searching for something, and Salom just looks so angry and hostile, and like his whole being is like challenging in this scene. I feel like, and he looks way more
I
harsh than
think
Kang. Like Kang, I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
Kang looks lost.
I think he looks indifferent in the beginning. Like
Mm.
he at first he's scared when he realizes in what his situation he is, but then he's like kind of resigned and indifferent and like
Yeah, I feel
what do
yeah.
you
There's a
want from
little
me?
bit of detachment in there. Like he's just like, I can't deal with this right now. Um, and I feel like that's probably why we're gonna get this scene where he has like a further breakdown, because in this like this direct aftermath of what's just like happened to him, like he wasn't physically aware of it while it was happening, and so it's like the scare of it afterwards. He doesn't get to deal with that in this scene because what's actually happening is like more important to him right now, and
Mm-hmm,
so it's like his focus is Kang, and like later on it will hit him, I feel like.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
um but yeah, so so he's detached a little bit because he's not dealing with that right now, you know what I mean? um and I yeah, so and of course like I feel like the way he's looking at Kang is like way more harsh. Like I feel like Kang isn't seeing what he wants from Selom in this moment. Like he's scared, and it makes him more afraid that he's lost him and that he's too late, I guess. And so the throwing of the money and the offering to buy him comments, I feel like people misunderstood this scene also. Like I think people were linking it to their class discrepancies again, but this isn't about rich or poor. It's about making, or sorry, or about making Salom feel worthless, even though it does. This isn't new for them. This is a twisted version of something that Kang has been doing and trying to offer Salom the whole time. And every time he gets rejected. Like, so he pushed away Salom and he let him get hurt. He let him down. He's angry at himself, but he also doesn't know how to get Salom to say that he's his again. Which is ultimately his goal, I feel like, when he's like throwing the money and offering to buy him and stuff. Because his last offer for purchase with Salom came with Salom telling him that he already belongs to him. And is like, I feel like he's trying to get them back there. Um, he knows he was wrong. He's known that since he opened the door and found Salom gone and just that lone umbrella on the bed waiting for him. And I feel like everything in this scene is like screaming in its intensity. Like, Kang doesn't know how to convey his concern. He has no rights here anymore. He forfeited them already. And like, it's just like, I feel like there's this weird kind of mix here in the way he physically handles Salom. So he seems cold, like he throws the water on his face, which is like the quickest way to bring him to consciousness, really, besides dragging him into a shower. That's like what you would do in this situation. Um, and so like he does this. He's very kind of like um matter of fact in his treatment of him, which is funny because it reminds me of what you said about the parent thing, because I kind of had that vibe from this as well. Like he's very adult in this moment. um and then like, but he's also really like, he seems cold in the way he grips a hold of Salom's neck and head and stuff, but I feel like you can see this
Does? I don't think he does. Did someone say he looks cold?
no, I feel like he's firm, like he's maybe I'm describing it wrong. Like, he's very like, all of his movements are very matter of fact, and very like, you know.
Maybe like something like just in like in the scene where he was taking care of him or when he had fever, you know?
Yeah,
Like
kind
it's
of like
not
that, but he's not. He's yeah, like, and he when he gave him the sponge bath, and there was no like, it
exactly.
was a no
Yes.
frills. Yeah, so it's very much like that, but I feel like you can still see the gentleness under the
Yes, of
firmness
course.
in
Yeah.
this. And I feel like he even lets go of him. Like, you can see that he wants to keep holding on to him, but he lets go of him because he doesn't have that right anymore. Like, he has no
Yeah.
rights. And I feel like that's making him more angry as well, because like he can't like get he's so angry at him for doing this, but he also can't get angry at him because it's none of his business. Like, he's made it so that it's none of his business.
Hmm.
um and I feel like he's always been so careful with Salom, like since their friendship started even, and I can just see it here, like the way he grabs him. The throwing of the money is his version of trying to shake some sense into Salom, I feel like. And he may have separated them, but deep down I feel like he wanted to be there for him, and he wants to be this solution, like he wants to be his savior, and it's just all mixed up now. And I feel like part of his anger is not just the fear, but like disappointment as well, that Salom chose this over coming to him. And it's not rational. Like, he shut him out, but like this boy and his intensity for Salom, like he is like the least rational person on the planet right now. And I feel like he was all in from day one. Like, and then he tried to go like cold turkey and back all the way out, like in a minute, in a second. And he's hurt too. Like, I think because Salom just let him push him away. He's used to Salom slapping the stupid out of him, but he did nothing. Plus, he's blaming himself. Like, he turned away, and look what happened. Salom didn't take care of himself. And it's like translated to King, I feel like, that he didn't take care of him, because he knows this about Salom. Like, and Salom, put himself in Kang's care, and King has like neglected that. Um, and it's like, did they learn no lessons from each other? But I'm like, of course they did. That's the reason that they're here in this moment, and the way it all ends out and everything is because they learn so much and they love so much. And I just feel like Salom responds to Kang's offer of purchase with not with a denial, or a confirmation that he's Kang and always will be, and all the words that Kang really wants to hear, but like rather with the fact that he can do whatever he wants with him. And like, wow, did I have so much to say about this? Because Kang is so pissed off at Salom. Like, he's worth more than that to him. Even though his pedestal is cracked, and as you said, it's been taken from him, it's shaking. Like, how could he lower himself like this? But Salom feels worthless. he's not even as
Because
important. We
even
talk.
though even if he took the pedestal out from Siloam, I mean, he did that before, and Siloam still held his head high.
Yeah.
He always believed in himself. And what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah, well, that's right. And it's like we talked about it the other day about how,
I mean, I
like,
have more to say. I have more to say about this. I'm waiting for you because I have so much to say.
well, it's,
Go.
yeah, it's like we talked about this as well, and you'll probably touch on this too. You may even want to jump in now, but like Salom feels worthless because he's not even as important as one of those t-shirts that King has in his closet. Like, Grandma makes a mention of it when he freaks out because she cut up one of his t-shirts to fix Salom's bag, and she makes that comment about like how he's got thousands of them just hanging out in there or whatever. And like, so, like, if you think about this from if you think about the way he was discarded from Salom's point of view, like he's not even worth as much as a t-shirt. Um, and it's just, and it's so much worse because all of this has happened after he's given himself to Kang. And, it's as I said, it's so much worse because it's like it happens after they have sex, after he really gave Kang a part of himself that he can't ever get back, and he feels so much more empty and less than he was before. And I feel like he feels ashamed as well because, like, even though he called Kang and wanted him to save him and everything, he doesn't want him to see him like this. Um, there's a big difference from being vulnerable and scared and vulnerable and feeling stupid for making a mistake. But yeah, I feel like in this, like, Kang is just like he wants to be close, like he wants him. He's so angry and he's so scared, and Salom is like right here, but he's not his anymore. But then he offers himself and he's challenging Kang and he can't back down. And Salom in this moment, like he wants Kang. Like he wants Kang to save him. He doesn't feel safe. He feels lost. He feels dumb. He feels embarrassed, and it hurts to be this close and not be Kang's again. And I feel like he's like, should he just give in and let Kang have him? It's like what they both want anyway. And as soon as Kang moves on Salom, he looks pained. Like he's upset that Kang isn't being careful and gentle with him, I feel. And this isn't the way he wants Kang. Like, but he needs him, so he clings. The way he clings to him, like, I know people had an issue with this scene because they felt like it was, Kang taking advantage or like whatever. And but this is clear that is clearly not what's happening here. He's given permission, but not only that, he's like Salom's response to him is not to struggle or push him away or do any, like he is clinging to him. Like he wants this even as he hates himself. He wants Kang for as long as he can have him, for as long as he can hold on to him. And I feel like he's not gonna let go so easy. Even if it hurts, even if Kang hates him because he loves Kang and he needs him, right? And so he clings. And hearing the words "You're nothing but money to me," I feel like Kang is like he, there's certain things that Salom is like this is the thing. This is the thing that gets me, that I feel like people are forgetting as well. Salom is a really smart guy, and he understands Perth. He understands Kang really, really well. And there are certain words that certain things you could say to Kang that are like barbed wire, and this is definitely one of them. The amount of times that Kang has asked for reassurance and for like confirmation that he means something to Salom. um the words he chooses here aren't a mistake. Like he does it on purpose. He barbs his words. And like hearing the words, "Yeah, you're nothing from but money from me," to me rather, like Kang is rational. He knows it's a lie, like, but he's scared. Like we know his self-worth's not great either. So I mean, I'm sure there's some fear in there that he's not worth anything. And hey, Salom is offering. And it's funny because um when he says those words to Salom, he is like taken aback for a second. Um, and it's like it reminds me of the last time that Salom used money to hit back at Kang. And the last time he lashed out physically, and this time he used his words instead. So I feel like it cut him just as deep. Actually, probably more so. And it's like I feel like in this moment, Kang is in a place where Salom is so close, and he's so frustrated. Like, words aren't making a difference. Like, they're not listening to each other. So he kisses him, and Salom lets him, and he just holds on to him tight. But this isn't really what he wants. Like, he wants them back. He wants Salom to be his, and he wants to be Salom's. But this isn't his Salom. This passive participant who should be raging at him for pushing him away, this isn't his Salom. So, like, Kang just, the way he just starts laying there and shaking over him, and Salom tightens his hold even more, like he's trying to hold them together, like he's trying to hold Kang together. And Kang remembering that first and last time when he held a breaking Salom, and he wants to go back. Like, he never wanted to be the one who would break this boy that he loves. Not after he saw him that first night. Like, not after he knew how important he was, how brave, how beautiful, how smart, and how, like, when he became his. So they, like, cling to each other, and they cry and they love and they break and they heal together in this moment, and I love it. But the sexual assault comments really bugged me. Like, the older guy was definitely assaulting him. In my country, if you engage in sexual activities with someone who is under the influence of alcohol, so, like, even if you, like, have had too much drink and you can't drive, then technically by law in my country you are not able to consent to sexual activities. So this person has drugged him out cold, so he was definitely, like, assaulting him. um but I was just like, Kang being given permission, it's not pretty what happens here, but Salom is clinging to him while this is going on. This is not a, this is not an assault. I suppose one could argue that Salom may have been impaired still here, but we're not meant to think so. I don't think he seems pretty aware, conscious, and coherent. We're meant to think that he's fine, even though, like, realistically in the real world he wouldn't be. Um, but Kang should know better. Like, I feel like even as Salom taunts him, and when Salom is concerned, he's never been able to really hold back, and he's shit at communication. So they both are in this moment, and so this starts between them as this, like, desperate, angry, but consensual, like, intimacy, sex charged moment. But it ends almost immediately because Kang doesn't want to hurt Salom, and he wants to care for him, and this isn't that. They're too angry and they're too in pain and they're too broken, and it just feels wrong, so he stops. And I feel like just because it feels wrong doesn't mean it's, like, a bad thing. It's just the opposite of how and where he wants them to be. So I feel like, like, this isn't them. They desperately love each other. So this is so far from that honeymoon mind blowing moment that Kang, like, of their first time that Kang talks about, that it's enough to feel intensely, like, inadequate and desperate. And going back to part 1 of 4, this is that thing I mentioned earlier, when Kang jumps on him and kisses Salom's neck, and Salom's laughter is such a vivid contrast to this scene, because, like, one is clearly devastating and the other one is filled with joy and everything, but in both he clings to Kang and holds Kang to him. And so they break, and it's like they finally got close, that their hearts press together and they can't lie anymore and they can't hide from each other anymore. And I mean, I know I've, like, really, really gone on about how amazing Perth's acting is in this episode, but, like, in this scene as well, like, the way he's physically shaking just, like, was killing me. I feel like he played Kang in this moment so well. It really, and Kes the North Face on Tumblr mentioned that it seems like Kang is speaking here, and I've seen other people mentioning whispering and stuff, and it's he maybe I'm not really sure whether I think that's what's happening or not, but if he is, it's probably just a bunch of desperate words along the lines of, I love you, I'm sorry, I won't let you go again, all those sorts of things that you think would be uttered in that moment. And of course, we're missing subs, so we don't actually know. But, like, the lyrics break into this with the coldest plight to pass me by, and I'm like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, thank Christ, that means that the worst is past. At least I hope so. I feel like this is the moment, like, this is the darkest moment, and now they can heal and move on and heal each other from, like the depths of their despair, and they move into the pure light. And then we get the lyrics, I'm heading in the direction that feels right, and they are just like clinging so tight to one another here. And then the whole something has changed inside, and it's like as soon as they got close, that physical connection, their bubble snapped back into place. They can't hide. They can't hide how they really feel, and they can't, so this is their truth. Their truth when they're being honest with each other in this moment. And I feel like the words don't really matter because their entire beings are focused on not letting go of one another. I do wish we had like a different camera angle here, because I feel like I understand why we got the close ups. It's more intense, it's more intimate, but I really wanted to see more of their movements, because I feel like we got these hints of Kang's aborted grappling on how to hold and touch Salom in this moment, while Salom is like just clinging to him. For me, it's like somewhat in between desperation, not knowing if he's really allowed to have this right to just even hold him, and afraid he might hurt him more. Like I feel like there's all these kind of like aborted movements of like how he's trying to hold Salom, and I wish we could see it better. And yeah, I guess like I there really wasn't anything in this scene that I didn't like, and I'm curious to know what you have to say about it, because you've been really quiet.
Yeah, I want to go through this scene and talk about what I think about it. So I want to say that I watched episode two because when we were talking, I remember saying something about episode two, and I went to watch the first several episodes because I feel like a lot of stuff that is happening right now is mirroring the stuff from the first episode. So I was curious to see what else maybe might happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this idea that I want to hear Kang say, "I'm sorry for being a jerk to you" again. Because in
Yeah.
episode two, Grandma forces him to say that.
Mm.
And I kind of want to hear him say this again.
Yeah.
So during the moment, then he tries to get the reaction out of Salom. He climbs onto him and he says, "I'll buy you myself wanted," and he throws money. And then he waits. He does all this stuff to make Salom fight back. In episode two, Kang
Mm.
says, "I wanted to show you that money can buy everything. You should have accepted my offer from the beginning." And then he throws the money into Salom's face. At that point, Salom hits him in the face and throws all the money that he got from him into Kang. And when Salom says, "You're just money to me," it's it's just like that. It's like punching
Yeah.
Kang's
Yeah.
face,
It's like
and
he did the same thing. Yeah.
he recoils. And when he and but even when he was the angriest in the first episode, Salom never told him anything like that, because that obviously is one of the worst things he could have said to Kang,
Mm.
because that's one of the reasons why Kang was so angry with the world. He knew people used him for his money. They only saw him for his money. And now Salom is trying to hurt Kang because he knows his vulnerability.
Mm.
But the thing is, it means accepting this narrative that Kang was trying to force on him in episode two, which makes him the thing that can be bought. And like by devaluing, by transforming Kang into the money, he transforms himself into the thing that can be bought. So he basically declares that he's a thing. He has, he's worthless as a person. He's just a thing to be bought. And so a lot of stuff is mirroring from episode two. Kang saving him from the assault. He's the hero. But the problem is that he's one of the monsters now that broke Salom in a way. I think he maybe realizes it himself. He broke Salom's spirit and dignity,
Yeah.
something that he was unable to do in episode two. So he does all this stuff that he did before that made Salom, be the Salom that he got obsessed with, the core Salom. But
Mm.
he's not there. It's just this empty shell. Salom doesn't act as expected because now he knows how Salom he acted not as expected in the first episode, but now he knows him and now he expects that reaction from him. And again, he does not act as expected because he's broken. So he's basically trying to get him to fight with words. And Salome is like, "Yeah, I guess I'm dumb." He throws the money on him and tries to get him to fight back by offering to buy him. And Salom is like, yeah, I guess you can buy me. And then he tries to get him to fight by kissing him. And instead, Salom just clings to him. And so Ken breaks down because this frightens him. He understands that there there are no doors anymore. There are no walls, there's no building, there's nothing. Salom is not there. And then we get the flashback because he finally understands that Salom needs Kang to save him. He finally understands how lost Salom is, and also that he is attacking Salom, and Salom is defenseless right now. He can't
Mm.
fight back. He doesn't have the strength. He doesn't have the resources. He has nothing. Salom needs him, and now he will be there for him because this is what Kang White wanted from the beginning. Salom needing him. He used Siloam letting go so easily as something to help justify himself and to draw this line between them. And it's just so funny how they basically felt the same, just used and worthless and lonely in this episode. This is why this is a fucking dangerous romance and why the title fits, because look what they did to each other.
I know, right? But they're the only two that can build each other back as well. Like, I mean, the way they are just clinging. I am gagging for like the first part of episode 11, or actually pretty much the whole entire episode, because I want to know where they go from here. Like, ultimately, I mean, we know in the preview that they fall asleep together and everything, and there's this like amazing bit where like Kang is holding on to Salom, like he's afraid that when he wakes up he's not going to be in the bed next to him, like we saw at the beginning of this episode.
Mhm.
um and it's like I want to see all of those conversations that I hope we're going to get to witness.
You know what I think he feels when he just realizes everything and now they're both crying and everything?
Mm-hmm.
I think he feels relief
Who, Kang
because,
or Kang?
yeah,
Mm.
because just as we were talking before, he's addicted to Salom's vulnerability.
Mm.
He's addicted to Salom's need. He hates it. He hates it, but he also loves it. And at first, he thought he doesn't need him, and maybe there's nothing left there to protect. But then Salom cries with him and clings to him, and he has found his purpose again as a protector.
Mm. I feel like as well they have in that moment realized as well that it's like one of those things where like yes you're getting that for sure, but it's like Kang is Salom is also realizing that he needs to be held. He needs to be like they're both realizing these things about each other that they have like either not admitted or not even like admitted to themselves, alone each other. So they
Mhm.
it's yeah, it's really the whole thing I just think is was done very, very well. As I said, I'm really, really curious about next episode. And as I said, the only thing maybe that bothers me about this series is we know that they have deep conversations about things because we've been like alerted to it. Like we know, for example, that they had the conversation about Salom having feelings for him for a long time and things like that. But we didn't get to witness them, and there's some really kind of important conversations that I feel like we need to witness them have. I really want to hear them say I love you. Like I really, more than anything else, like I know there's a bunch of like weirdo contingencies out there that are hanging out for another kiss or whatever, but I just want to hear them say I love you to each other because I feel like they need to hear it. Like both of them need to hear it.
Mhm. Me too.
Even though it's so obvious, like a blind man could see it and like they know, like of course they know, like especially after this they know. But like I feel like I need to hear them say it.
Yeah,
like
because they've been playing around with metaphors and other languages and everything, but they never said it in their own language directly to each other. They need to say this to each other.
yeah, like for serious. It's like even like if you go back to the beginning of the episode after they like the morning after they've had sex and everything, and we got that whole like kind of cute flirty jokey thing, and to a certain extent it's amusing to me as well because this scene basically is starts out being driven by Salom with his like somewhat flirtiness, like wearing the shirt. acting like his, Kang's servant, like all of these, like, I guess, like kind of like cliche little like flirt moments, wearing his shirt because he knows he likes the way he smells, and all of these things. And then as soon as like Kang kind of like tries to flip that back to him, he just like loses his mind. But the way Kang does it is so it's so I was I once again I loved the acting in this bit. I loved the way that he enunciated his words when he says about like, oh, I've got your scent on me from last night or whatever it is he says. Just the way he says it, it just sounds really interesting. Like the language sounded really interesting. um
Mhm.
and I'm just like, but he was so kind of like casual in the way he says about it. Like it's really like his and it's why it's the main reason why like Salom gets all shy and like is like, no, nothing happened, is because he's so like kind of blunt and casual about it, and it's like
Mhm.
it doesn't fit with what's just happened to them, but he's just like it's like it's bringing innocent child a little bit, and it reminds me, we talked about this I think in the reaction as well, like where he's like, oh, it was mind blowing, don't you think, or whatever. It's like he's trying to ask for a score again. So they're always trying to get this, especially Kang, trying to get this like a reassurance from one another. But I just, yeah, I really feel like we need the I love yous.
Yeah. I hope the angst is over in the next episode.
Yeah, I mean, I have multiple theories. I mean, I was fine, and then we had that conversation with Cass earlier, and she was like, "Oh, me." Do you think they're going to be back together again next episode? And I feel like it's not as simple as that, unfortunately. But
I mean, I hope the main issue gets resolved, like with Saifa and with the dad and everything, with the shooting and everything.
yeah, oh yeah. I
Maybe,
mean,
maybe the resolution to the relationship will be in the last episode. That is possible.
yeah. Now, I just realized that I almost forgot the most important part of this podcast,
Oh,
which is our theories as to how did Kang find Salom so quickly? Because, like, like he rang him, sure enough, right? So, but like, I have so many questions. What happened to his phone? Did like creepy old guy pick up his phone? Did creepy old guy hang up the phone? Or did Kang like answer and hear creepy old guy going, Salam, Salam? Because he sounded super panicked and then he had this like creepy old man face.
yeah, but
Um,
we cut to the phone and no one answered yet when that
yeah.
happened.
So, and then, but like, it's like, how did he know? Like, I know there was some like theories of like, maybe he's got like find my phone or whatever on his phone. And it's like, but like that, then you assume that the phone got picked up and taken with him to the bedroom, which seems weird, but maybe. And there were all these theories as to like why. So like, what was your theory was that he'd been sort of stalking him? Was that your theory?
Yep.
So, and my theory was scent. Because I feel like he sniffed out Salom because, his nose knows. He knows where
I
he
think
is.
his nose knows. This is
He's,
the best theory ever.
his nose knows. Like he's been smelling him a lot. So I feel like, he's a bit like a like one of those dogs that sniff stuff out. I can't think what they're called.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know what I mean though. Like he got the scent. He just had one of Salom's t-shirts. He had a good whiff and then just like followed it. But yeah, I mean, I know it's probably just one of those drama things where we'll never know, but I'm like, seriously, dude, how did you know? And then like, not beyond how did he know? How did he get in the hotel room? Like, I mean, we know he's never met a door he couldn't get into when Salam was on the other side, but still, like, I'm just like, that was the only part of the thing that probably took me out of the episode a little bit because I was just like, how did he find him? But then I was like,
I
of course,
wonder. I wonder if we get an explanation in the next episode.
yeah. Look, there's
I
so
feel like
many.
we need one.
There's so many conversations and so many things I want to see. Like, I want to know how they get from clinging to one another to in bed together in nice white bright t-shirts. Like, where did the t-shirts come
No,
from? Whose
because
bed are they in?
in the second episode, there's such a good explanation regarding why. he was there to rescue Siloam. It was so good. Like he was there to threaten him with the gun. And I feel like we need a really good one for this scene as well, because otherwise it will be a bit like a bit
Yeah,
disappointing.
like how did he turn up? Yeah, it's just so weird to me that he's just there. I mean, we already have sort of theorized that he's like not spending a lot of time at home because he can't stand to be there without Solon being there, and just
But we
like,
forget flashbacks. Like we did not really have a lot of Kang's point of view in this episode. What if in the next episode they talk it out and Kang tells him what he's been up to
yeah, we
during
see
this?
some flashbacks. Yeah.
You know what? Also, I actually really hope we get a continuation of this scene and not just jump up um
Like the
to
next
another.
morning. Yeah,
Yes.
I want a conversation. I want a conversation between them.
You know,
It's
they've been pretty good about this up until now. Like every scene that ended up really intense, like they always go back to explain what happened like next, always, like
yeah,
when Salome kisses Kang, when they kiss in the bathroom, when Pimfa tells Kang that she likes Salome, and what else happened, like they always go back to explain what happened. I really hope they don't leave this just like this, and we
yeah.
maybe even hear what they're saying when they're crying.
Yeah, because the thing is, yeah, well, that's right. Even that would probably be enough of an insight into what would like potentially, where they're going to go or whatever. But it's like, because you're right, they've either given us a direct continuation of the scene, the previous scene, or we get an explanation in flashbacks. From the other person's point of
Yeah.
view, like the kiss, like we said, like you said, like in the kiss scene, it was definitely from Salom's point of view initially, and then when we got the flashback, it was Kang's point of view. So it would be interesting to see even if we got it in a flashback, because I would be curious to see like whose point of view it would be, and like how different it might be from the scene we've just seen. I feel like the scene that we just saw was, like, if I had to pick a point of view or pick a point of angst, I actually would choose Kang for this. So I would be really curious to see Salom's point of view of what's just happened here, because I feel like they have the opportunity to like use a little bit of that impaired judgment, and like, like to sort of frame it in a slightly different way. Um I would be curious to see what they would do. But yeah, I very much feel like we need a conversation, like a directly after this moment conversation. Because we see them in the bed together, and we're getting like a voiceover of like, if it was me, would you think I had done it, or something like that? And Aang says no, because I trust you. But I like, obviously that's not happening there because they're asleep. So that could be part of the oh no, they're not. They're sitting up talking, aren't they? No, sorry, I'm getting confused. Yeah, they
You
are
know,
sitting up having a conversation, but there's a bit later on as well where something is said, and like it's said over a different scene. So they do that sometimes to confuse us, I think, so we don't, it may not belong to that scene or whatever. So
they're so good with the trailers. I think I said it before. Like I'm so impressed with the way they make the trailers and previews. I mean, not previews in inside the episode. The trailer for the next episode. I'm impressed. The people who are working on the trailers for this series are really like doing a really 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 good job.
yeah.
Bravo to them. They're amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, because like the trailer for this, like you get the scene at the beginning, and at the beginning I was thinking, like, where are they, because the background is so different to the hotel they're in now. At least it looks like it's different to me. So at first I wondered, maybe that were they at Salom's house, because we actually haven't seen his bedroom. Oh no, we did see his bedroom when he went home to get changed for a date. It's very white. Okay, I take it back. But I had already decided that I was wrong with that anyway, because I went back and, like, for the 20 millionth time, watched the trailer to see the shower scene where Salon breaks down and says, I have nobody. And Kang's like, well, you have me.
Where are they there? I feel like they're not in. I don't think they're in Kang's house, right? They're
No,
not
they're
in
not.
Kang's
The
house.
color is like bright
Is
orange. Like
it
the wall
actually
is
like in
bright
a
orange.
hotel?
It has to be a hotel,
So
but
is
it's
it like a
definitely not the
neutral
one.
territory? They do they go to a hotel to stay together? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, well, it's not the hotel they're in, so they must go to a different hotel. That or they're at someone else's house, like one of their friends'
What do
house
you
or
mean not
something.
the hotel? What do you mean not the hotel they're in?
Well, because at the end of this scene, they're in a hotel room, right? But this,
Oh
the
no, not the hotel. Of course, no. They, oh, I think they leave this place as soon as they like get their shit together. They would not want to stay there.
no, but like, and as I said, this the scene where they wake up together and the scene when they're in the shower, they look like they're the same place because there's a bright orange wall in both of them. But it's definitely not the hotel they're in. So it's not Salom's
Yeah.
house, it's not Kang's house. So it's either another hotel room somewhere, or it's like maybe like I don't know, like Nava or Max's house or something. It looks too posh to be Guy or Otto's house. So that's the other option, I guess. Or maybe Pimfar, but I don't know. But it looks more richy rich, so it's something
Mhm.
like that. But it's interesting because the scene when
But Salome crying in someone else's house, I feel like it must be a neutral territory
yeah, it has to
for
be a
him
hotel, I
to
feel
wake
like.
up to.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be a hotel.
He
And I
would
also
not
wonder
cry
if
like
they're
that if
not
he was in Navas or Bimfa's
yeah,
house. He would just let himself.
yeah, I feel
Um,
so too. And it's interesting because he tried so hard, you know, all through this season or this series rather to like hide his vulnerabilities and that even from Kang up until like now, this point in time. And then clearly it's like he's opened that door and it's like a floodgate has opened because we get this scene where he basically breaks down in front of him again. So it's very like um interesting and like a really interesting character development, which I think we discussed that we wanted to see. Um, but I feel like it's confusing. Like I feel like the trailer is made to look like the bit where they're in bed with the white t-shirts is like the morning after this, and I don't think it is.
I know it's not. I don't think it is. I don't think it
I know
is.
I think that I think the scene where Salom gets shot at and Kang rescues him happens, and then they somehow end up, maybe they're hiding out, they end up in a hotel room, and we
Hmm.
get the shower scene, and then we get the scene of them in bed with the
Yeah,
bright
that's a
white
really good point.
t-shirts and the conversation in the morning and all of that. So
Mm.
it'd be really interesting to see what happens here, whether they have a conversation or whether like one of them freaks out and leaves, which would actually also be kind of warranted because this was like really kind of like they've had sex, but this was really intimate. Like this is they definitely like have laid themselves bare a little bit here, and I could understand like one of them panicking and like
I
making a
think
break for it.
it would be Salome.
Oh, of course it would be. There's no way
In
Kang
his
is leaving
in
voluntarily.
his
This is
head,
it is Salom.
in his head, Salome is alone.
Yeah, and I just
Alone.
feel
Even though Kang showed up right now, he would need to. He needs time and he needs more in order to start trusting that he is there for
yeah,
him.
he needs the words. I feel like fully needs the words, but and
I
the
don't know if
actions.
it's the words. I don't know. I think it's the actions. I
Yeah,
think
I think he
maybe
needs.
he needs Kang to choose him over something else, like
Yeah,
the way he chose to, kind of betray his dad to save Otto. Yeah, like he put his dad in trouble in order to save Otto. I feel like he needs to make a choice in favor of Salom
well, I think
for.
that's going to happen anyway. I think that's what we're going to get with that conversation where he says about, you know, like, would you think I was guilty, blah, blah, blah. And he's going to say, no, well, it's because I trust you. I feel like that that's then going to be them like trying to find the truth or something like that. I could be wrong, but, and so that in itself would mean that that he believes that like, you know, like he's helping to basically prove, I guess, that Sapphire is
Maybe,
not the
but
guilty partner.
what if there is also this thing that Salom, why did he leave? Because he thinks he brought this on Kang. He thinks, he's
Yeah,
troubled and
I mean, that's
he feels
possible.
guilty. And
I feel like he's likely to run anyway just because of the vulnerability of the scene, like because the vulnerability of that moment. Whereas, like Kang is less inclined to leave because he's not going to want to let him out of his sight, which is probably why he turns up just when, um, like Salom needs him when he's getting shot at or whatever, because Kang has been looking for him, like actively looking for him.
Mhm. Or maybe they're there to get something and like Kang has been waiting. Maybe it's a plan, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm very, very, very curious
I know. I can't wait.
to
I
see.
honestly can't wait. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a scene where we don't get the conversation we wanted to, or maybe we do. Maybe we do get to hear what Kang is saying, and like he falls asleep or something because he's just like so wrung out and exhausted from like all of the emotions and everything, and Salom like freaks and like runs off, and Kang wakes up alone. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we got a scene like that.
I'm both scared and excited. Yeah, no, me too. I wouldn't be surprised to get the scene where Kang wakes up alone. I was just thinking it like.
Yeah, and it's because it would make the scene that we get later on of them in bed together with his hand on like Salom, like he's
Yeah,
afraid he's going to disappear, make so much more sense.
yeah.
Like even more so. Like I wouldn't be surprised like from like then
Mm-hmm.
onwards if he just like starts tying Salom to him. Like ties the wrists together, handcuffs.
Microchips him.
Sorry.
Microchips him.
Yeah, well, I mean that's another theory as to how he knew who he was. He low jacked his equipment. Yeah, I'm super curious to know like if we get some sort of answer as to if he knew. I would actually love to see a flashback scene as well of him receiving that call and like what he like his reaction, like his panic, his whatever. I mean, like we know what it would be like, but I would love to see it as well.
That would be the great way to show what Kang has been up to in this episode, to show what he has been doing and to show his reaction to the call. That would be really like, I think that's how it would be the most satisfying thing that could happen, to show a continuation of this and maybe have them have a conversation and explain how he got there so fast, and have a flashback where it's explained.
I just actually had a thought. What if, like, during this time, during the gap between like when he had this conversation with Grandma, where he was clearly questioning himself and not at all believing anything he was saying, and like this end scene, what if he had come to the conclusion himself that he needed to prove that Sapphire didn't do it, and he's been like trying to find out information or like whatever, and he's been like working on his own, but he doesn't get the chance to tell Salom that, like like after everything settles down, because Salom just like takes off, um, and
That's
that's how they
interesting.
kind of end up
That
together
would be
in
a
that.
very hero move from him, like a real hero move.
Yeah, and then like
He
that's
would
how
be
they
very
end up.
keen to hear that too.
Yeah,
Like,
that's like how he ends up sort of rescuing him from the people shooting at him, because basically like they were in the same place to try and get the same information.
well, we'll see.
Anyway, all right. If not, it'd make a good fan fiction. Get writing
We
somebody.
have so many theories. I mean, so many ways this could have
I know.
gone
I know.
down. Like,
Yeah, I am really interested to see what will happen. Not just with them, but with the other characters, and
me too.
you know. So, do we think the father's going to wake up?
Yeah,
I mean, it looks like he's going to. Is he going to get the chance? Is
I think there's been so much drama between them. I don't think like we can handle more.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll do this to us.
you need to have some sort of reconciliation, don't you? Well, that was fun.
At least for us, it was.
If you made it to the end, I'm not sure if we should apologize or congratulate you.
But thanks again for spending your time with us. Join us in the next podcast as we react to the next episode of Dangerous Romance.
Please check out our Twitter and Tumblr at criticallyobs for all future posting schedules.
Bye for now. I'm Mirella.
And I'm Zoe, and we'll see you next time.